coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Push any button.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I gotta get in a good mood in a hurry. What's going on here? We got anything working here? Ba. Punch the mic. We'll see. I'm going to say good morning, even though I don't think it's a good morning. Good morning, folks. It is Monday, May 19th, 2025. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a very strange weekend. Spent the night. You know, people think of me as a pretty negative person, with good reason. I'm a curmudgeon. Listen, I spent the night, honestly, this is straight up truth. I spent the night wishing I could die in my sleep, but I didn't get to sleep. I just kept thinking, I just really want to die. I'm ready. And that's a pretty negative thought, I would think. But listen, anyway, so I approach my life pretty much like it's over. Like there's nothing left that I really need to do. And what the fuck am I doing here? I'm just treading water, not going anywhere. No plan, no nothing. But for all the negativity, this program was built with the idea of being a support system for young people in the performing arts, that they could launch or promote themselves, launch events, publicize events, and maybe learn something about the craft that they're in. So the intent there is for positive energy. And even though I'm a very negative person, but it come to my attention, and lately, not just over the weekend, but lately, how many people are using this kind of platform just for the most negative things? And I'm coming up to talking about those guys who are these podcasts and Blind Mike. On Saturday night, I happened to be in here painting, and I got a text about Blind Mike bashing GD again. It's like, and GD's in good company there, because it seems that Blind Mike just exists to bash people. Now, you talk about negative energy. Imagine doing something like this. He only does one a week, I believe. But imagine putting all your energy into just putting people down and trying to find fault with other people's creative work, rather than offer anything positive. And he's a happy-go-lucky guy. He sleeps well at night. He's not up at night thinking, gee, I wish I could fucking die before the morning comes. He's fine with himself. And that's a really fucked up thing, in my opinion. What we got here? So I actually reached out. I reached out to GD first and said, can talk to what's his face there, boy, Tom Myers, and get me Blind Mike's contact. I want to have him on the program. And GD said, don't bother. I've tried many times through his minions and stuff, and there's no getting in touch, or he doesn't answer. So I just looked him up a little bit, found him on Twitter, DM'd him, and he got right back to me. Blind Mike will be here next week sometime. This week's not good for him. He asked me when we record. We don't record. We go live. We watch it all. I did offer him opportunity to bash me equally, like he's been bashing GD. Now he's fixated on GD. Like this isn't the first time. He's come back to him several times to kind of just look for fault. But I have offered him an opportunity to come on and bash me. Find some things to bash me, but I don't fucking care. But I also want him to confront GD face to face. Now, in this latest bashing, and I really shouldn't even publicize it, but it has to be talked about. In this published bashing, he says they kind of chickened out. Tom Myers has offered him the opportunity to express whatever reason he's got a fucking hard on for GD to GD's face. And he said, I don't know what I would say to him. And you would say to him what you're saying to the fucking public right now. For some reason, listen, you don't find him funny. Comedy is subjective. But to get mean and try to just tear somebody down and then not have the dignity and courage to say it to their face, I don't know what I would say to him. I know what you should say to him. You should say to him exactly what you're saying to the public about him right now. So, you know what? He'll be on next week. We'll give him an opportunity because some people have said Blind Mike's actually a nice guy. I can't see it. But, I'm sure there are people that actually say that I'm a nice guy, and I don't see it either. But the idea about, well, you just put out all this negative energy. I'm putting out a lot of positive energy and still feel like, you know what? And obviously, it comes across in a very negative way when I'm bashing my friends and just fucking around with them, busting balls. But honestly, this platform was created to help people. In the first hour today, one of those people, a guy named Dan Schreiber, who is actually known as Big D, the D-Man, I'm sorry, not Big D. Big D Energy has been on the program before, and he wasn't scheduled for today, but he called me on Saturday and wanted to come back on. He's got some things to promote. And yes, that's what we want. That's what we're here for. We're here for comedians, musicians, artists of any kind, book authors, to come on and find a supportive place, talk about their craft, maybe share some information about their craft. This is all positive stuff. I can't imagine dedicating time and energy with one goal, to find fault in people and to piss on their dream. I hope we can find some redemption in Blind Mike when he comes on. Anyway, enough of the rant today. In the second hour, J.M. Shaw, author, has been with us before. Going to talk about the fourth novel in a series, the Callum Walker series. And I believe her whole family has been diagnosed with autism and ADHD or whatever those letters are. ADD, TYZ, Baba. Adding machine letters or something. Anyway, so she'll be with us. And we'll try to find something positive in this Monday that I've been wishing I wouldn't wake up for, even though I never went to sleep. Commercials, Opus Clip. Go to Opus Clip. I got to pay the bills somehow over here. So go, if you're if you are a video editor or a podcaster or even a comedian and want your reels done, you got a long tape, you just feed it into Opus Clip. You can get a free trial. Use the link that's in the description. You get a free trial and do like your hour special or whatever you have. Throw it in there, and we'll come up with a ton of good clips that you could post, get some traction on, get yourself out there. So but that, and then we'll. I'm gonna take a mind bloom break, and then we'll say hello to Stephen and GD, and I will abuse Stephen as much as I possibly can before our first guest.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me right now are Steven, the I ain't push any button pushing motherfucker, and Blind Mike's favorite comedian of all time, Mr. GD.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you a nice guy but can't see it? You may have a retinal blockage. Try Good Brew, bro. Good probiotics for bad retinal blockage. Get that retinal blockage right out of your intestines. Never mind.
I think I had
MindDogTV.com. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
You know, I had something blocking my intestine. It was Steven's mouth. Oh,
I know when I move around, remove my lips, it went.
So what happened? Your little girlfriend, who looks like you, got you a special studio room in the house or something. What happened? I saw you got like a new setup or something. You got your bass behind you, trying to look like me or something. Trying to act.
I know, right? No, my brother got me a L-shaped desk so I could have more room and have everything kind of
like lesbian.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, Joe Biden's got
ass cancer,
prostate cancer, and it's gone to the bone. And for people, listen, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because if Trump was made an announcement that he had prostate cancer and it had gone to the bone, I have to be honest here. Be a little happy about it. I would. I can't lie about it. But the difference between Trump and Joe Biden, even though I never liked Joe Biden's politics, and I'm not a fan of his. Joe Biden is a good person, a good man. Donald Trump is the fucking devil. He really is. Oh, TDS. No, it's not TDS. It's 40 years of seeing the man in action. He's the devil. And I saw somebody on Twitter this morning, Jay Sixer, who spent 4 years in prison, blaming Joe Biden. Oh, I'm glad he's dying. Fuck him. He ruined my life. No, you know who ruined your life? Donald Trump ruined your life when he lied to you, got you all culty riled up, got you angry about something that never happened. You believed it. He sent you in there to do his dirty work and let you fucking suffer for those 4 years. Don't fucking blame Joe Biden for what you did because your cult leader forced you to do it. That said, what Joe Biden is going through right now, and what he had to have been going through for at least a little while now, and there's so many fucking people. I'm an expert in prostate cancer all of a sudden. I have some experience with prostate problems, prostate cancer, prostate research. I can tell you
prostate stimulation.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. When it metastasizes to the bone, it's fucking super painful. The man has been, for whatever he is, 80-something years old, putting on a brave face, riding a bicycle, even getting up to speak to people in immense pain. So if you think you can do that, or you can even empathize with that, you can't. Believe me, you can't do it. He's going through hell. And so, give him some credit for just being able to be a public person and be going through that. Enough said about that.
The only joke that I saw that even made me mildly laugh was that, oh shit, God missed too.
God missed what? Oh, Q?
God missed also. He was trying to take out Trump, but he hit Biden instead. Yeah. I know. It was dumb. I didn't make it up. I just said it made me giggle when I read it, and I was like, oh, that's
like you repeated it. How dare you repeat such a bad joke? I mean, if you're going to steal a joke and repeat it, at least steal from something decent, okay?
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm a little bit saddened of what Biden is going through, mainly because I guess it's the irony. He had the Cancer Moonshot initiative where he was throwing all this money at cancer research, and because of his son Beau, basically. and he is now being subjected to the very disease that he was trying to fight. Right. And I think that if that were to happen to Trump, he probably would be suffering from, I don't know, Bitcoin or something. I'm trying to think what he's. I can't think of anything he's trying to stop. He's trying to stop poor people. So I guess he would. I don't know. I can't think of anything he's trying to.
Heart cancer is what he. And heart cancer is very rare that people would get a tumor in their heart, but it happens. But yeah, it's just a terrible thing, and I can't be a hypocrite and just oh, you can't make fun of that, because I promise you, if Trump was doing it, I'd be fucking dancing. I'd be dancing, and I don't dance. So
don't ask me. Yeah, you don't dance. Don't ask you.
Well, my wife went to. She's been going to these. She has these lady friends, old broads, and they go to these dance things, and sometime before the new year, because I've never danced in my life. I'm not a dancer. Besides having no control of my body from the waist down, I'm just not.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
But okay, before we bring in our guest, since he's in the room and being subjected to this stuff that has nothing to do with promoting his brand, I just wanted to ask you something real quick. When you play guitar, do you like sway a little?
Yeah. I've actually
that could be your dance. You know, just stand like this.
That. Yeah, but after a while, let me just stop you there. If you're at a wedding and you're doing that, and there are little kids there, you are going to be the one they're pointing at and laughing at.
Well, not if you stand with your wife and you both do this.
So anyway,
or you take this hand, you do this hand, and you hold her with it, and in this hand,
I got it. Before New Year's, I saw this thing on social media about local dance lessons, and I told her I would do that for her because I know it means something. And so now I'm going to have to do that because before the actual dance thing, there was a half-hour beginner's dance lesson. And like, I'm going to have to go for that.
Now, my question is, since it's a local dance thing, does that mean you can't dance outside of New York or just outside of Long Island?
Probably not outside of the town that it's going to be in Port Jefferson.
Okay, so you can only dance.
Maybe not even outside of the building. Yeah, just in this small building. Before Dan Schreiber called me on Saturday. It called me. The phone rang, and I was like,
"What?" He called you, and the phone rang.
Yeah, they called me. The phone rang, and I didn't want to pick it up because it's at Floral Park, and I have cousins that live in Floral Park who I've been trying to avoid because they're Trumpers. But. So I saw Floral Park, and I answered it, and he said, it's the D-Man. And I thought he said the B-Man. I'm thinking, Brendan Walsh, why is he fucking calling me now? I mean, it's been like a year and a half. Last time I talked to him, he was supposed to be on the program, but he's in the West Coast and blah, blah, blah. But like, where did he get a Floral Park number? And he keeps saying the D-Man. I'm like, the B-Man. And there's another B-Man. There's a radio station, B103, Frank, the B-Man. And I'm thinking it sounds more like him than Brendan. Now I'm confused. And he's no, the D-Man. Oh, the comic who lives down the street from the brokerage. Oh yeah. So I don't know how we got my number. I don't. You generally they call
you do post it often enough. Your phone number is out there often enough. I mean, I know. It's not like it's
I was just surprised to hear from him because I don't get that. I get emails from people who want to be on the show. I never get a phone call. But it just so happened we had opening because he's got a show tomorrow night. He wants to promo, and he's here now. Say hello again to the D-Man, not the B-Man. How are you?
Hey, Dog. Hey, GD. Hey, Steven. Nice seeing you.
Where's that energy? Come on, 2 days
ago. Where's this big D energy? Hey, guys.
No, hey, guys.
It says right your name.
You gotta come in with the what's up, motherfuckers?
That's right.
Yeah, something like that. Just like, hey guys, I got the big D energy. At least for Florida, it's big D.
Did. Let me just say it. When his first line is, I know. Well, last time I was on the program, it was early morning. I hadn't slept, and I'll try to get some good sleep this time. Obviously, he didn't.
I did.
Oh, you did.
Maybe he got too much sleep this time.
Well, unlike me, you weren't wishing you would not wake up.
I guess next time when I come on, I gotta come up with my own intro, like you guys said.
Yeah,
or just do some cocaine,
some crystal meth because
my
deal.
Yeah, like Biden's son.
Yeah. So now tomorrow night, what's the big show tomorrow night? Where's your show tomorrow night? What are you doing? What do you got going on?
It's called Geotopia Open Mic Podcast. So it's very interesting. So I have 3 to 5 minutes to perform, and it's a live stream open mic.
Live, like live streamed.
Yeah, open mic, and with his and running it that's in charge is Giovanni Famato.
Giovanni, yeah, nice Jewish boy.
Fellow Jew like me, yeah.
Yeah. So, is there an audience there? Oh, are you doing it in front of a live audience?
Yes.
Okay, that's better than just like a Zoom call live, because they have those too. And the location is it in a club, a bar, a restaurant, or is it at like Strong Island Studios?
Yeah, it's
tomorrow night, Dan. You got to know where you go. Come on.
I do. It's got the info in front of me. It's at you said it's at some bar. It's on 89 North in Patchogue.
89 North is not just some bar. I thought so.
Yeah, you
So I
told me
thought the
some
thing
bar,
in 2
but
weeks
I've
was
never been there, so I don't know. You would know more than me.
Oh yeah, no, it's a rock concert hall.
Oh, okay.
A very popular one. A lot of they got a lot of tribute bands, but they get some national headliners too. But I thought that was the one that was coming up in 2 weeks. This is the one tomorrow night. You're at 89 North tomorrow night.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, should it's my first time performing in it, and also there's a they actually pick somebody from the audience to perform a minute. This kind of reminds me of Kill Tony. Like, kind of similar to Kill Tony, and it'll be live streamed off Facebook, YouTube, and dog. When I got your number, I hope you didn't mind. I thought it was easier to call you because it was under your the info of your Mind Dog TV.
It's not a problem. It's a miracle that I picked up. Yeah, Bear Love says we actually got a comic to show up. Listen, it happens. But yeah, no, it's just very.
It was weird that Floral Park.
It's strange that I picked up. I generally don't pick up the phone if I don't recognize the number.
Okay.
He didn't even pick up when I call him, and he recognizes the number.
Yeah, no, it comes up as Blind Mike's favorite comedian. That's what it
comes up as 3/5 of a comic.
That's weird. Like, it didn't come up as Wanton; it just came up as Floral Park. It must be some glitch.
Yeah. So now, Dan, I gotta. This is gonna sound like I'm being like really like I'm being a blind Mike at you. I'm not. I'm saying this for your educational purposes, and hopefully that it will help you move forward in your career. Because this is what I am. I'm Mr. Positive. You get that vibe? Stephen will tell you. Stephen, am I Mr. Positive?
He's about as positive as an HIV test.
Shut the fuck up, you loser. I'm sorry. Now, Dan. Your bio. This is your bio for people who. What is CD doing? Choking on cock?
No, choking on cock had a furball.
Big D. I wrote the Big D energy part. The D man, stand-up comic, big wrestling and NFL fan, former college radio host, former podcast host. That bio needs some work, brother.
Oh,
hey, it's still a better bio than no bio.
That is
well, I couldn't fix the bio because you sent me the
no, I'm not saying for this show. I mean for your career, for moving forward. If you go to my Facebook page, a couple of days ago, I
I thought you meant for the show.
No, I'm saying for you as a comedian. If you want to be a comedian, if you seriously want to get into the comedy thing for life. You gotta have
not from you. Do you see it from my Instagram?
Yeah, that's where I got that from. Hold on a second. A couple of days ago I posted a bio for a comedian, and it was a lesson in how to write a bio. Actually, God damn it, on the stupid the older computer.
I thought my bio seemed okay.
You thought that seemed okay? Did you hear what I just read? Do you think that? Am I Steven GD? Back me up here. Is that a good bio? Is that gonna get a book?
Dan Schreiber from Long Island, New York, that goes by the D-Man in stand-up comedy. Big NFL and wrestling fan. EST.2024. I thought it didn't seem like it was a problem.
Oh, okay. Here's and I understand that doesn't feel. It feels like you put some energy into that. If you can write a joke, you can write a better bio than that. The question is, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who works for a radio show, somebody who works for a comedy club, somebody who works for a theater, a producer, and they get that bio in the mail. Are you going to get out and say, "Oh, this is the guy I got to have"?
No, and I guess it needs some fixing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying this to beat up on you. I'm not trying to be a blind mic here. I'm trying to kind of, because you're not every fucking comic I run into has this. I want to do things. I want to do bigger things, and then you read their bio, and it's just like you're not going to get a whole lot of traction from that. Jesus, how many fucking posts do I put on Facebook every fucking day?
Well, between you and I guess you have a chat bot thing that does posts for you.
Yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah, like you post like a lot of shit, so much so that I can't keep up.
I also post a lot of shit, but I do.
And I can't keep up with you either.
Not like
I do it manually, though.
Not like you said last time, Steven, about the kids that you like to get from elementary school.
God damn it. We went 27 minutes without me being called a pedophile, Dan.
Well,
God damn it.
27 minutes too long, in my opinion. But
I'm just joking, Steven.
Shit.
No, you're not. Wait,
yeah,
that was
that's a good one.
All right. Jesus. Man, I'm a post.
Okay, now we have a new service going on. Bear Love wants Matt to read his bio to let him know. I don't know.
I have a one pager that I could read to you.
A 1-page bio on yourself, dog?
Well, it's a 1-pager EPK, and this is what you really need to have.
Okay. But do you know what EPK stands for? Okay. EPK stands for Electronic Press Kit.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's like a resume for entertainment.
And to answer Bear's challenge there, the difference is I had a much better one. I'm not trying to book myself. I have no future ambitions. My career has been over for a long fucking time. So if I did want to book myself, I promise you I would have a very good one ready at this moment just to pull up like that.
No, I think I read it as Bear wants you to read his bio.
Well, I would do his bio
and then give feedback.
This is what I was going to put this in. He can read his, but I was going to put something on Road Comics of America that I would be happy, because obviously most comedians don't have a whole lot of marketing experience. You don't go from the marketing department to stand-up comedy and marketing yourself. Fucking A. I don't know what I did with this thing. Maybe I never posted it. Is that the problem?
Very informative learning about EPKs.
But so I'm gonna bypass this whole fucking thing that I did and try to find it later. The point of it was I took a name, just made up a name that sounded like a stupid fucking comedian that nobody ever heard of.
So you called yourself like Bill the Comedian?
No, not me. Bill is the name I chose. Yes, Bill. I think it was Heideldecker or something like that. Bill Heideldecker is no longer the best kept secret in comedy, and then went on from there. That's an opening line that will get attention, and so I was using lots of marketing language, and then at the end of the thing, where people are supposed to say, well, who the fuck is this guy, and start Googling him. If you've never heard of Bill Heideldecker, you're not alone, because he doesn't exist. I just fucking made him up. But that's how to write a bio.
I can show you my little EPK thing.
Hey! Will you stop trying to show guests your little EPK thing? I mean, you did that with the young lady from Indiana. Now you're trying to show. He's trying to show. Ignore him, Schreiber. He just can't help himself.
Skylar? What do you mean? Who's
I
Skylar?
said Schreiber.
Oh.
And I see that's a website. I have experience in website designing, and
I
I
can't-
know.
I can't read it in theory. This is not bad. Depending
Looks
on
like a nice bio.
the
Steven.
text is good. What are you on? You're on YouTube. What is that? It looked like you were on YouTube.
So this is it's a Google made. It's a website made through Google. Just made as a simple EPK with links.
Read that paragraph for us.
Hailing from the not so mean streets of South
like
Bend
little
and now
kids.
Hold on, let him read it.
Hailing from the not so mean streets of South Bend and now making Fort Wayne his comedic stomping ground, Steven the sitcom Ortiz has been cracking jokes for damn near 7 years. Whether it's the Diversity Bar, the Rowdiest Club, or lighting up the stage at Bricky's Comedy Festival, Steven's got a knack for making any room roar with laughter. With quick wit, sharper than Midwestern winter, and a vibe as relatable as late night snacks, Steven's comedy is reliable as your grandma's old couch, comfortable, familiar, but without that weird smell.
Yeah, that is not bad. Not bad. I would even go a little bit further than that and give it a Ron Kane-esque rave. Pretty good. Pretty good. That's what you want. You want one paragraph like that actually says something about the things that you've accomplished and why. The answer, you want to answer one question immediately. Why should I fucking hire it? Why should I give a fuck about this guy? And I'm telling you, wrestling fan, football fan doesn't make a comedy club.
I did that as like a start, and I still got to figure that out. I know my YouTube bio and my Instagram, my comedy Instagram bio would need some work.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm able to do fix it because I do have experience taking script writing back in college.
Yeah, and also
it really has helped me.
The video, the little demo video, should be really. You should put a lot. First of all, keep it short. Not like a 5-minute thing. 2 minutes is good, and your best material in 2 minutes with good response, with good lighting, and good sound, and it makes you look good, not just sloppily thrown together because I need something. Put some time into it. And I'm not just saying this for you. I know it sounds like, wow, a guy comes on the show and Apple's beating up on him. I'm beating up on comedians who just ignore this part of I want to make it in comedy, but I don't have the fucking.
All right, let me say one thing. It's gonna be a little gay and mushy, but if there's one thing I can say about Matt is when Matt finds somebody who he sees can have some potential, or sees that somebody at least has the drive that wants to try to do something, he will try to help them out, even if it comes off brash and abrasive. It's from a good place.
Yeah, well, to take away from the gay angle there, if you're a hot female, even more so. That's all I'm just saying.
That is true.
So, but okay, so moving on. I'm sorry, Dan, but because it's been going on forever on this program, and at least you had something. Steven's right. Most of them, I do comedy. Been in the stand-up game for a year. What? That's
to kill Tony once.
And how the fuck do I even say yes to that? Is the question I have. I'm like, oh, come on. Rewrite that sentence and get back to me, that whole kind of thing. But anyway, we are here to support you. We definitely are. I hope people will come out to 89 North tomorrow night. Do you know who else is on the bill? How long the show is? What time it starts?
I know I gotta when I perform, I have to meet between 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm sure. Yeah, I definitely know I can do that.
Let's call this fucking producer right now and get the details right. You can't. You're on here to promote it, and is it start at 7:00?
Yes, it starts at 7:00.
Okay, doors
Eastern,
open.
Western, South Pacific,
Eastern.
It's Long Island. It's Patchogue, New York. 89 North. It's the main road going north and south in Patchogue. It's a big club. It's a rock club. It's the stage. I don't know if you've ever performed on a stage like this before, but it's made for people the standing room only people on the dance floor. There's a dance floor, and the stage is 6 feet high.
Yeah, I should have searched the address. Then I get a better idea if it's a bar, a theater. But now I know from you, dog.
Unlike comedy clubs where the stage, you have your tables and your people's heads are like at your knee level.
Mm-hmm.
People's heads are going to be at your feet level. It's like that. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
different kind of.
it is kind of off-putting. I've performed at places where they were music venues, and you're like the stage is like 8 feet up, and you're looking down and out across people who are they're sitting, and you are like a god, and also you feel distant. There's like an emotional distance, a physical distance that you have to overcome to connect.
Yeah.
It's a different monster.
Yeah.
It's a different monster.
And also, the sound system is a rock club sound system. So if you're used to like comedy clubs where you just kind of hear yourself as like really bassy on the side, it's not like clear monitor systems. This is going to sound like you're at Live Aid and there are 200,000 people out in front of you, although there won't be 200,000 people, but it's going to be booming. And that could be a little.
And another thing that could be off-putting is they may not think about this, but I performed at places that were rock venues, and they have monitors, and they will have the monitors on as if you need to hear yourself. And that's I've been at places where they've had the monitors on, and so you hear yourself. Like, it's hard to explain. It's just a little bit off-putting. You have to focus.
Yeah.
You have to focus.
You're hearing the bassy response that's coming back from the side of the enclosure cabinet enclosures, but you're not hearing the crisp, vibrant vocal clear as the people out in front are. It can be a little weird. Definitely.
Yeah, it would be different if they had those monitors, but had a microphone in the audience, maybe. So you got to hear the laughter better because you are further away, and it's. If you're used to like little open mic settings where the people are like 20 feet, 5, 10, 15 feet from you and no more than 30 feet away from you because it's like a small venue, that you can have the same number of people in that big room and it's going to sound like they're an ocean away.
Yeah.
See, well, that's kind of the plus of comedy clubs, though. They're built like that. They're built to make the laughs bounce, and
Yeah, but this isn't a comedy club. This
is the one time I performed in a venue like that was at Pierre's in Fort Wayne, and it's set up for music, and it was so weird hearing myself the way I did. It threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
it's really odd. I didn't like it, but you get used to it.
What is this? I got to read this comment because I can't. It popped in there before. I don't know what I guess it's about me talking about Biden with his fucking candy.
Oh my God!
People got to realize the age of body-dependent life is coming to an end. The mind is cherished more in today's society, so old people throwing in the towel early have themselves to blame for not cultivating what is valued. What do you mean by that? Do you get?
I tried to make sense out of it, and I think I hate speaking for people that speak in riddles. But I'm under the impression that what they're saying is if you didn't take the time to leave your legacy, a legacy, because you're going to die, that's your fault. That's the way I take it.
I thought it was more like kumbaya, baby, kumbaya.
I don't see kumbaya. I mean, so the first thing I don't feel like I do. Okay, people got it. I'm losing it. There we go. People got to realize the age of body-dependent life is coming to an end. Okay, so what they're saying is this stage, so we're not even talking about intellectual property. We're just talking about physical being. And this stage come to, and I don't know if he's talking about as in general or specifically you and Biden or whatever.
Me and Biden. We both. Never mind.
But then he goes on to say, so old people, throwing in the towel early. So in other words, old people who just give up.
Like me? No, yeah, but I'm not just giving up. I feel like I've.
But since they only have themselves to blame for not cultivating what is valued, right. So which I think they're saying is the intellectual part because he's already said the physical body is like poo poo.
Are you a retard?
Well,
Not-
it sure feels like
why
that
you
after
asking
reading that, but
All right, I'm trying to, fuck it, man. I'm
No, not you.
no,
Not you.
you said
he was
you.
talking to-
You said, "Are you a retard?" Right? It said you, and I'm the one talking, so that
well,
you would
let
be
me just
directed at
say,
me.
he doesn't have the power to change the sound bites in midstream. So
Yeah, I
I'm
just-
He doesn't
defending.
have to use it.
Your Honor,
Wait, hold on. I'll fix it.
Your
I'll
Honor,
fix it.
I make my client might be a pedophile and a joke thief, but he does not have the audio.
But he didn't have to push that audio. He could have pushed
All right, hold
something
on.
else. No.
All right,
no,
hold on.
No, you fucked up.
I'll fix
Listen,
it.
Dan's not even
No, you
giggling.
can't
Look,
fix it.
Dan, do you laugh or we're not funny? We're not funny. You could tell us.
No, you guys make me laugh. And also, GD, I've been taking your advice about
But the hair.
creating a T-shirt with my picture. So
Yes.
thank you for the advice last time on that.
You know what? You keep taking
only
GD's
saying this-
advice, and Blind Mike is going to glom right on you.
I'm only reason why I say it is because our job is to sell ourselves.
No,
Okay. When we're on stage, we promote shows. And so basically, all right, let me fix that. Let me amend that comment.
Yeah.
Away from the stage, our job is to promote ourselves. On the stage, our job is to sell liquor and food.
What about below? Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, that's off stage. You do that on stage, you could very well be nabbed by, one of a fan, someone who's such a fan, they will like snatch you up, throw you in handcuffs, and take you back to where they work so they can show their friends that they've, got you.
Bear Love thinks I just stumbled off the Olive Card or something, whatever. I'm aware of the show business lifestyle where you're up all night and sleep all day. Believe me, I did that for 45 years. I'm still doing it to some extent. But what is it? Not the it's the Olive. What the fuck cart did I just stumble off? Anyway, I'm mixing.
But also, look,
I'm mixing my metaphors. I deserve to be laid down to rest, and die. Right?
Look, having been a musician and doing comedy and stuff like that, these are things we choose to do. We choose to do comedy, and if you choose to do comedy, you might as well choose to do it right. Okay, don't half-ass it. If you half-ass comedy as a career, then chances are, unless the universe, and I'm being tongue-in-cheek when I say that, unless the universe is like really going to help you along, no matter how you fuck up,
Stop, I don't like it.
So,
Matt, stop.
Then he's doing tongue in cheek. I wanted to give him some inspiration for his tongue in cheekness.
So it's like, look, I hate having to deal with agents and bookers and all that stuff behind it.
Three hates. You take one of those hates back.
Well, one's for bookers, one's for dealing with bookers, one's for dealing with agents, and one's for dealing,
ass cancer.
Ass cancer. I hate those things. I hate doing those things. But it's part of the thing because nobody knows who GD Fenderson is. And if I don't promote myself and come off as the best version of myself on paper and on wherever else I am, then nobody's going to be interested in me.
Well, obviously somebody's interested in you, very much so. But you know what? Again, and Dan, you should strive for this kind of, and Stephen too, this kind of, if somebody is, listen, GD is getting taking the piss taken out of him by Blind Mike and his fucking minions on this show, but he's in company of Dave Attell, he's in the company of Norm Macdonald, he's in company of Louis C.K. I mean, the people they're bashing are some pretty, they're just looking for negativity. And if you're at the level where people are just looking to fucking take the piss out of you, then you must be doing something right.
That's the goal, man. I've always had the mindset. Yeah, dude, I've always had the mindset that like if you're not doing it right unless you have haters, like that's the way it is. If people aren't.
Bob Henkelberg has no haters. Let me tell you about Bob Henkelberg. I find the fucking thing. Bob
is not
Bill. No, it's Bob. I was wrong.
Billy Bob.
Bob Henkelberg is not your ordinary stand-up comedian. With a knack for observation and storytelling, he takes the mundane aspects of life and transforms them into laugh-out-loud experiences. From his early days of performing at open mics in downtown clubs to gracing the stages of comedy festivals across the country, Bob's journey reflects the trials and triumphs that many comedians face. His humor resonates with audiences of all ages, making him a favorite of both corporate events and comedy clubs. That's a bio that a guy will read that and say, and listen, there's no specifics in there. So like nobody's gonna hear, well, what's comedy
I
club?
think
He's not
I think it gets quite specific. I mean, it starts off with his name, Bob Hickelberger. You know, that's pretty
Henkelberg.
specific. Henkelberg. That's pretty specific.
Yeah. But so you know, the comedy clubs, you don't mention which ones, you don't mention comedy festivals, you just put that done comedy festivals and comedy clubs, because obviously when you're starting out, you don't really have that impressive body of work, but you can be very vague about it and say you've done, because everybody has done a comedy club. Everybody has done some sort of festival or a thing like that. Oh, you know, so it's something like that and it goes on. It goes on. I mean, this is more than just a paragraph. This is a complete bio. But the point I'm making is you really, what Stephen calls the gatekeepers, you really want to fucking break down their resistance to you, because they don't want to hire you. They don't want to hire you. They have people in mind that they want to hire. They have people they want to put on the show. And for them to say, maybe I should give this guy a shot, you got to fucking blow their doors off right from the very first. Who is this guy? And I'm telling you right now, again, not to beat up on you, I promise you, but
you need
stand-up
to
comic
write a bio to entice them.
Stand-up comic, big wrestling and NFL fan, right there. I'm tuning out. If I'm booking for a comedy club or even for a festival or something.
Of course, yeah.
So
I got to fix that up. And also my Instagram.
I'll be happy to work with you on it and kind of make you Bob Henkelberg.
I appreciate it. And if you're not busy on Tuesday, you're more than welcome to come by.
Yeah, you know what? I might be able to make it Tuesday night. We'll see about this.
No paint party? Oh, you could do a paint party there, Matt. Do you have first of all, Matt? Do you have paint party business cards?
You could paint D-Man like he's one of your French whores.
I am definitely going to be doing some paint parties in bars, but not 89 North. This is a legit. I'm going there to see, foreigner tribute, that kind of thing. A lot of tribute bands there.
Damn.
I have a lot of friends who have gone into the tribute band thing, and I'm just wondering how satisfied. When does that get tired? I mean, obviously there are big crowds, the money is good, but at some point,
I bet it pumps the ego.
Okay, Matt, I have like a serious question, Matt, because most of the tribute bands that I've experienced have a physical resemblance to the bands that they're paying tribute to. I'm just saying most of them. No, at least
they go out of their way to make up and wardrobe and wigs and that kind of
stuff. Right. Now, so could I do like a tribute, like for example, and I'm not doing it now, obviously not now because I don't have the hands anymore. But back in the day, I could steal Alex Lifeson's riffs from Rush, like verbatim. Okay, so would I be like a good Alex Lifeson tribute band, a Rush tribute band musician because I don't look like Alex Lifeson? Or could I do it with whiteface?
I guarantee you, the guy the manager of the band would
put me in whiteface.
If he decided that you were the right Alex Lifeson, he would say, we got to whiten them up. We got to do some, put some powder on them, something, whiten them up a little bit.
I'm just curious because otherwise what they're saying is you can play. Now I don't like playing other people's licks. Now I'd rather play my own, even if they're worse. At least they're mine. But I'm just saying, I'd rather tell my own bad jokes than steal from a comedian I respect.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I could not? I'm just no. Okay, man. This actually happened to me years ago. I came. A friend of mine belonged to a improv group.
Did you just came right now?
Yes.
A friend
of mine belonged to a improv group, very popular in DC, very popular. But they're all white. They're all white men. And I said, "Can I audition?" Huh?
Who else would do improv?
White women. But at any rate, and the thing is, they do political improv. You know, they're out of DC, and it's almost all political. They do impressions of other, politicians and stuff. And I said, can I get in on this? And can I audition? And they said, well, it probably wouldn't work because you're black. And there aren't any black prominent politicians.
Oh,
at that time, And so, I guess there's only so many times you could be like Al Sharpton or something like that. But
my girlfriend saw a band over the weekend. It was like a 90s 2000s emo tribute night, and I mean, none of the guys on it. There was one black dude on the drums. The rest of the guys, none of them looked like punk guys. One guy looked like William Montgomery. I swear to God, I thought it was him from Killzone. And he was on the guitar, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, she was sending me pictures, and I'm like, this is the most like mushed together group of people I've ever seen in my life. But they were fucking killing it. But
I'm saying they can be talented.
Like bands, I'm just saying they didn't look like any of the bands that they were representing. Those when I was the point I was making.
Yeah, Matt, I'm see you waving us off. So it means you want to talk.
I want you guys to fight it out because Dan only has a few minutes left here, and I want to promote Dan.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize, Dan. That was rude of me. I forgot why you were here.
Coming up is on June 4th. That is being hosted by Richie Byrne and Mike Keegan.
Yeah. Okay. So Mike Keegan,
it's an open mic event.
Hershey and Keegs on the Gov Network. Mike Keegan, Mike Keegan has been around. He's been doing the Long Island comedy circuit for a very long time. At least in my memory, at least 10 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
So, and Steve Byrne.
Richie Byrne.
Yeah. Richie Byrne. Right. Why did I say Steve Byrne? There was Steve Byrne.
I knew a Steve Byrne in college.
I know a Steve Burns also. That's a UFO guy.
Yeah, but anyway,
Steve Byrne, I knew looked like a cheap knockoff of David Byrne.
I could be wrong, but I think Richie Byrne has probably been doing it for 20, 25 years. I think he's
the event should be a good time. They have a house musician they're going to be having and some guest comics that'll be performing as well.
And where is that going to be?
That's going to be at the bar Cassidy's at 1367 Newbridge Road, North Belmore, New York.
All right, Belmore. Yeah, all right. Which is not far. Yeah, not far from the brokerage. Now you live near the brokerage.
Not too far away from me too.
Yeah. All right, very cool. So now, just to give people, again, with the bio, not telling people much about what you do you do a lot of jokes about, like, the things that are in there about NFL?
I would write a longer bio on Instagram, but it just sucks.
Forget about the bio. We want to know what kind of
no, it's just like when you write bios, you got to, whatever social medias, websites, you got to be careful of word cutoff. They have it. It's only
forget about the bio. I'm trying to get to what kind of comedy people can expect when they come to see you. What kind of stuff are you doing? Are you dark? Are you clean? Are you tell us what kind of?
See, he's not dark, man.
Life stories, anecdotes, like.
Let him answer.
With dark humor, it's more like I'm not saying anything with color, GD. It's like very like it could be it's kind of hard to explain. It's like very people can make sexual jokes. That dark humor section of stand-up comedy can be very broad. You make sexual.
Yeah, but what do you do? We want to know what you do. Yeah, we didn't want you to define what dark comedy was. We just want to know what you do.
Just because Steven said,
"Who are you even a fan of Big D? The D Man? Are you a fan of the D Man? Because it doesn't sound like you've seen his act.
I do jokes about dark humor, celebrities, sports, and family.
All right, cool.
And I've been so far I have came up with a few new jokes. They're coming along very well.
All right. How often do you write? Are you sitting down writing new material every day, every week? What do you do?
I would say lately I've been doing fixes and coming up with new jokes every day. About every day.
All right. Now what's special? If people come out Tuesday night, What are you gonna do for them? That's going the extra mile here. You're gonna give them a little hand job after the show. What are you gonna? What's happening, Steven?
Go that way.
What's going on, Steven?
He's giving himself a hand job. He forgot to wash off the stuff from last time.
No, my string.
It got all hard and crusty.
My string to my sweatpants was like my string to my sweatpants was half hanging out of my sweatpants, so I pulled on it, and it wrapped around my balls. When I pulled, it
we were thinking like, what were you doing, Steven? Like itching your balls or something?
I was lynching my balls on accident.
I'd rather he do that than
told you not to stare at a white woman. Oh, no, teacher.
I'd much rather he'd play with his balls than actually push balls.
It just really hurt. The string was really long, see, and it was stuck, and I pulled it out, and it was just wrapped around right there.
Yeah, does that have the aroma of a grandmother that you're talking about?
Oh my
no,
God!
It doesn't smell like anything. I'm clean. I showered this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I work out in the morning, and then I shower, then I get on the show, then I go to work normally. But I'm off today and tomorrow.
What does this workout look like? I'm sorry, this is dance time, but I got to know about what does this workout consist of?
I have dumbbells, and I have
deep knee bends and a cucumber patch.
No, I have dumbbells and a curling bar, so I do. It's all upper body, but
never call your dates dumbbells. Okay, don't do that. That's a sure way not to get a second date. Don't call them dumbbells.
I apologize for that.
No, call them bimbos if you want. You can call them huas.
So I got two broads and a curling bar, and
hey, Blind Mike. Yeah, I know that was a terrible fucking. I know. What are we gonna do?
Blind Mike
dumbbell. Yeah, he's doing dumbbell jokes. All right, all right. Can you make a note of that for when you come on next week? All right. Big Mike there calling in to say GD with the dumbbell jokes. 86. 86. He said.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna. And now that I got that advice, I'm going to expand upon it and turn it into a 19-minute bit.
Wow.
86 57 4309.
What is that, Jenny? I got
867 5309. Yeah.
Speaking about bands, I actually from 2016 to 2017, I used to work at Westbury Music Fair as a stagehand, and like I would help take apart the stage after the shows, but they had me like the person in charge of the Westbury Theater that was my boss. But what was crazy was she was having me do like other stuff. I was supposed to do like do security backstage for the stars, rope up the area, where the crowd is. So what's interesting, and you don't really see any like concerts he really does, but he does gospel. So one time I had to rope off the area for Ruben Studdard to go backstage. He's a big man.
I roped off my nuts about 30 seconds ago.
GD was a Rupert Studdard tribute band. He was.
I was. In that fact, he took 4 of us to fill his shoes.
Right.
And his pants.
For you guys who don't know, Westbury Music Fair is one of the most prestigious venues on Long Island to perform at. Did you see any good comedians come in there?
No.
Wow.
There were no comedians or no good ones.
I never saw any comedians. I'll never forget that. I was trying to look away as much as possible, but it's pretty funny.
Wow.
So they had a male stripper event there when
GD.
I'm pretty sure I didn't see GD there. It was
my hair would have been shorter.
You wouldn't be able to tell because his dick would be poking you in the eye, so you wouldn't be.
They were talking the freaking crowd, giving all these middle-aged women lap dances, and I was like, "Oh my
GD, but he's got a 40-foot cock." I'm sorry, I had trouble saying cock.
No. They were
the Willie boys.
I had trouble spitting that lie out too.
Thank God they weren't naked; they're just wearing G-strings.
One time, now there was my drummer's girlfriend, later his wife, was backstage, a stagehand, not a stagehand, a green room assistant at Westbury Music Fair, and brought me backstage to meet Rodney Dangerfield when he performed there. And Rodney in the 10 minutes I was in his presence, or even less than 10 minutes, smoked 5 or 6 joints.
Oh wow!
I've heard that he was a very heavy pot smoker.
Like one after, like chain smoking joints. Wow.
Now, was he finishing the joint or was he passing it around? So, like in total,
no, he wasn't.
I've always heard
he just smoked it himself.
I always heard he was not a social smoker. It was he smoked them like people smoke cigarettes back in the day.
Right.
He would just chief them.
And then when I went back out to my seat, I was sitting right next to Joe Antis. Well, across the aisle, but he was the next seat over. I was on the end of the aisle, and Joe Antis. You know who Joe Antis is? You guys? No.
Rodney Dangerfield's illegitimate love child?
Something like that. Something like that. Joe Antis was Rodney Dangerfield's best friend, who was a shill in the audience, like yelling out stuff, heckling, but not really heckling. It would be like
controlled heckling. It's the heckling so that Rodney would know what was coming, so he had a line ready for it.
And according to everybody who from that era, Joe Antis was the funniest man ever in comedy, but he had severe stage fright and never would do any shows. So Rodney, Robert Klein, all these people hung out with Joe Antis, and he said he was the funniest guy among all of them.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've heard his name connected to a couple other comics too.
Ask Jackie about him next time.
Yeah, ask us if Jackie's mentioned him a few times.
Yeah, I think that's where I heard it from originally. Was that name was from Jackie? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I used to work for the company called that rhymes with Comcast, we have these board meetings in the morning, and the guy that sat next to me is a guy named Brian Cornell. So funny, but he would never speak out loud. And so somebody would say something during their meeting, and he would whisper like a retort or something in my ear, and it'd be like hilarious. And he'd go like, so today we're gonna, and he'd be going, and I would say it out loud. I would just go and blurt it out loud, and everybody would laugh. And by the third time, he whispers at me and he goes, "Why are you stealing my material?" I said, "Why are you giving it to me?"
Really? I mean, that's your purpose here. You are my Jackie Martling. I'm your Howard Stern. That's
so what I did. But the fourth one, and he still kept whispering to me. So on the fourth one, I said, "Brian Cornell wants me to know that he thinks this," and then I repeated it out there. And he goes, "Don't put my name out there." I said, "Well, how do you want me to do it? Why?" I can't win for losing. I can't.
Matt,
I can't
to be fair, I think I'm your Jackie. I think he's your what's her name.
No, I'm not talking. I was just putting that guy. That guy was GD's Jackie.
Man,
I don't have a Jackie. I have a real Jackie. I have Jackie.
You do have Jackie, but but I'm your punching bag, like Jackie was to Howard Stern.
Oh
God.
Punching bag. I don't know. More like my scrotum bag.
Last time.
But that's fine.
I'll take it.
About as much hair as my scrotum bag too.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh God.
I know.
Like he's smuggling a teddy bear in his pants.
Well, it's more like It's more like Dr. Irwin Corey, like scraggly gray hairs. But that's let's not talk about my scrotum on this episode.
Let's not do that, please, anymore. We have to do the news and stuff soon.
Yeah. So, Dan, are you full of regret that you even called me on Saturday? Aren't you? You're like, why? Well, I don't.
He doesn't regret calling you. He regret that you answered.
No, I don't regret it. I don't regret it, and it was very nice talking. And I guess there was bad reception when you thought I was B-Man.
B-Man, the B-Man, the E-Man. And listen, all those letters sound the P-Man,
A-Man, B-Man, C-Man.
If they didn't sound the same, ventriloquists wouldn't have a job.
I would go with Big D Energy, right? Steven would go with that. Steven does go with that, and he's not even that.
Well, I do.
Yeah, Steven says Big D Energy, but then it says Dad, Big Dad Energy.
Well, yeah, because clearly I don't have a huge dick.
Clearly,
but nobody would know that. That's just it. See, I
don't know, man. I'm pulling women somehow.
Somehow, exactly.
I didn't say. See, I didn't say you didn't pull women. I'm just saying nobody would know the intimacies and details of your genitalia unless you put it out there.
All right. We have to say goodbye, Dan. The
D-Man. Thanks for having me on.
Tuesday night. That's tomorrow night. Doors open at 7 p.m. at 89 North in Patchogue on North Ocean Avenue, and the address is 89 North Ocean Avenue. 89 North is the club. All right, Dan.
And for the first 100 customers, the first 100 people through the door, will get a handshake from Dan himself.
There you go. See, that's what we need.
Like first 20 people will get like free pictures and a sticker.
Yeah. All right. Very cool.
No, of course. And
or Dan will stick them.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and definitely I would love to come on again. But the next time I come on, I'll make sure to share a better bio.
Next time you come on, you better be fucking doing cocaine and amphetamines. That's all I'm saying.
11 Red Bulls.
Right. And
watch your blood sugar.
I just want to put this out there. Don't, if you don't fucking want to take advantage of it, that's fine. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt. But if you want help with the bio, reach out to me. I will definitely.
I definitely will. Thank you, dog.
All right. Have a great day, and thanks for being here. And good luck with the show. And possibly tomorrow night, I might be able to make it there.
Yeah, so, have a nice day.
You know, when people say they try, they never show up. But I am seriously gonna see if I can clear my schedule and show up. So
yeah, no problem. I know you have a very busy schedule.
He has a plus one also.
I have to think of more pedophile jokes about Steven and, whatever.
Okay.
So, that's a full-time job. I don't know if you're aware, but okay. Dan, have a great day and get some sleep.
You too, guys.
All right, bye for now. The D-Man. I just want to say Big D. Don't you want to say Big D?
No.
Do you want to suck BD? Big D?
No.
I think you do.
I did it once, and it was not very satisfactory.
How about some news about a ship that? Listen, here's the deal. Right, got a nickel for you. If you're standing, hold on. If you're standing on the upper deck of the Brooklyn Bridge, the walk deck, because on the Brooklyn Bridge you can walk across or you can drive across. If you're standing on the walking deck and you see a ship coming to crash into the bridge, that's not the time to get out your cell phone and say, I can get a viral video clip. That's the time to put on your fucking running shoes and get the fuck off the bridge. It's just it's something to consider. I mean, hey, look at this shit. No, what the
I don't understand. Is that what happened to somebody?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You didn't see the news?
A Mexican. Now, this is the other part, which is really the Mexican Navy looks like Columbus. They got a fucking
Irish.
Yeah, like an all fucking time, like the Nina
sailboat
Santa Maria, right? Coming in the East River. This is the Mexican Navy. What the fuck are they doing in the West, in the East River, doing military exercises?
It sounds like Trump outsourced it. It sounds like Trump outsourced military.
It was a I can't remember what it was exactly. I think I read it was some sort of traditional visit that they do once a year.
And it was probably meant.
I thought Trump had commissioned them to take back some.
Probably
immigrants.
A week late. It probably meant for Cinco de Mayo or something.
Mayo, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but
all right,
they're just getting here.
And then we glossed over the fact that GD said he sucked a dick and it wasn't satisfactory.
News.
I've never not said that.
Israeli military operations in Gaza intensified over the weekend, resulting in at least 103 fatalities. According to local health officials, the strikes have forced the closure of a major hospital, further straining the region's already limited medical infrastructure.
The Israeli Defense Forces have launched a new offensive targeting Hamas positions, including ground incursions and airstrikes. This escalation follows the discovery of the body of Hamas leader Mohammed Sinwar in a tunnel in Khan Yunis. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
A Mexican Navy sailboat collided with the Brooklyn Bridge, resulting in 2 deaths and 19 injuries. The incident occurred during a ceremonial visit to New York City, with all casualties reported among those on the vessel.
Authorities stated that the bridge did not sustain structural damage. The cause of the collision is under investigation, with officials examining navigational errors and mechanical failures as potential factors. The Mexican Navy has expressed condolences and is cooperating with U.S. authorities. Kyle Norris reported.
An explosion outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California has been classified as an act of terrorism by the FBI. The blast killed 1 individual and injured 4 others, causing significant damage to the facility.
Investigators identified the suspect as 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkus, who was found deceased near the scene. Authorities discovered writings indicating anti-pro-life sentiments and a nihilistic worldview. Despite the destruction, all embryos at the clinic were preserved, and no patients were present during the explosion. Lauren Lawrence Keller reporting.
Senator Rand Paul has raised concerns over a proposed gift of a luxury jet from Qatar to the U.S. government. The aircraft is intended for use as Air Force One, prompting questions about potential conflicts of interest.
Paul emphasized the need for transparency and adherence to ethical standards in accepting such gifts. He acknowledged that while there may be legal avenues to receive the jet, the administration must carefully consider the implications and public perception. Jim Kender reporting.
German authorities are searching for a suspect who attacked and injured at least 5 individuals outside a bar in Bielefeld.
The incident occurred early Sunday morning, with the assailant fleeing the scene immediately after the attack. 3 victims sustained serious injuries and are receiving treatment at local hospitals. Police have not ruled out the possibility of additional victims and are appealing to the public for information. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Pope Leo XIV delivered his inaugural Mass at St. Peter's Square, emphasizing unity and a renewed missionary spirit. Approximately 100,000 attendees gathered to witness the ceremony marking the beginning of his papacy.
During the Mass, Pope Leo XIV met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, discussing the potential role of the Vatican in mediating peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. The Pope's message highlighted the importance of compassion and outreach in addressing global conflicts and fostering reconciliation. Benjamin Wright reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Actually, it's not, but it's close enough. Anti-pro. I'm not gonna let that anti-pro stuff go. Now, who anti-pro-life? So I'm gonna bomb a fertility clinic and kill myself in the process, right? What am I missing here where that makes any fucking sense at all? I'm anti-pro-life, so I'm gonna blow up a fertility clinic, which is obviously pro. What is anti-pro-life? I'm anti-life. You can take
basically, yeah, that's how I would perceive it. What?
I'm anti-life. That's a
StreamYard, get your shit together. I only heard half the news.
Yeah. I'm baffled. I'm baffled by that. Baffled.
Baffled.
I've been remiss. You know what I've been remiss about? Today is a fucking holiday. It's a worldwide holiday, and I didn't acknowledge it.
What holiday is it?
It's Man Day.
What?
Today's the 19th?
Man Day. Carl Mann's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Carl. Oh, that's right. I wished him happy birthday already on Facebook, but happy birthday, buddy.
How old is Carl, do you think?
41.
I was wishing for 53. It's the drinking. It ages him.
He could be my age, but with the drinking, like you said, looking much older. So,
yeah, I don't know. You know how tall? How tall would you guess Carl is?
4'2".
5'5".
How about 6'9"?
No fucking way.
When the first time I met Carl was in New York City, and first time I saw him in person, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I was expecting a little guy, and that in the little box there that I've always talked to him online, he's a little guy. And then you got to see him, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this mountain?"
Well, I'll be honest. Ron was shorter than I thought he would be when I met him.
Yeah, but Carl, no, he's not 6'9". But he's at least probably 6'2", 6'3", something like that. Something like that. You wouldn't. He doesn't look it, right? He looks like a short, stocky guy.
Yeah.
All right. Our guest is with us. You want to talk books? You want to talk about the fourth book in a series of books?
Sure.
Because I'm in. I will talk to her about this, but James, so she's from that country. I can't pronounce it. The Canadadia. You know the
Canada?
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Canada?
Yeah, Canadadia. Yeah, I think you said it right. Right, Canadadia.
Canada.
The country.
Canada.
Canadadia. I don't know. She's from James lived in Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, with her husband and 2 young children. She and her family embarked upon a journey of understanding, acceptance, and lifelong learning when they discovered their shared diagnosis of autism and ADHD. Writing is her passion, and with experience and interest in healthcare, psychology, martial arts. She will mess me up for even saying this and calling her a Canadian and personal training. She pours her unique insights and knowledge into her creative fictions, and we're here to talk about the fourth book in the Calum Walker series. Let's say hello to J.M. Shaw. Good morning.
Good morning.
So do I have this right? Your entire family got diagnosed at the same all at once with autism and
within a year's time. Yeah, my started with my oldest son, and then we were going through that ADOS assessment, and I'm like, "That's what you're looking for? That's been me forever." And then 3 months later, I found out that I also have autism and ADHD, and then 6 months later, my youngest was diagnosed.
Wow, is it
now?
negatively?
Was there when you having that knowledge? Was it more of a relief so that some things are now explained, or is it more like a holy crap, why us, or you know?
Well, there was definitely a bit of a shock, like, what does this mean for us? But yeah, looking back on my life and my childhood, I was like, wow, the signs were all there. How did we miss this? And it makes sense because I, for the longest time, thought I was just an alien dropped off on this planet. And my family was going to come and pick me up one day. It's like, oh, sorry, big mistake.
The word normal is going to come out of my mouth because I'm not normal. But you do seem like a very normal. Now, I'm probably on the spectrum. I think everybody, if we talk about the spectrum, I think 8 billion people are on the spectrum. I don't know where I fit on that. But I've never felt normal. But if I were to meet you just casually, I'd say, this is a normal person. There's nothing wrong with her. She just seemed like a normal person.
Yeah.
Are you not normal?
Women do a lot of hiding it. We tend to mask the symptoms a lot, so it's a lot harder to diagnose women, but it's more of an internalized thing and thought process and reactions to things and behaviors. I struggle with, for the longest time, I struggled with eye contact. And I forced myself to look at people. It's not that I can't learn these things. It's just these things would come naturally to other people. You'd learn how to talk to somebody and you make friends. I had to teach myself to talk to people. I had to teach myself to look at people in the eyes. And it's something that just doesn't come naturally to me.
So this would be more comfortable than an actual in-person podcast where we're all sitting around a table. You kind of, because you really can't see my eyes, and you can't see Steven's eyes ever because he's always stoned out and they're like red and turned back in his head. Plus, he's a weird dude to begin with. So it's more comfortable than in this format, right?
Well, because I've lived with it most of my life and I've kind of come up with my own strategies. Either way, it wouldn't matter either way at this point in my life.
Okay. Last week we had a guy on who called his autism superpowers. Mm-hmm. Is some benefit, something that's extra, something good that you wouldn't expect in your condition?
Yeah. So when somebody's going for, like, say, for example, a walk, you maybe notice the breeze, you maybe notice the birds. I notice the scratchy tag in my shirt. I notice the wind in my hair. I notice the ground and the sound my feet make and the feel of it. I notice that leaf blowing. I notice the ants crawling on the fence. I notice everything. Your brain does not filter anything. It can be very overwhelming, but it's also very, you don't miss anything. But also, too, I find that with autistic, at least from my experience, I'm a very much an out-of-the-box thinker, and I'm learning that that's kind of a creative, that's kind of a thing I didn't realize. So I've always been a what if person. What if this? What if that?
Wow. I'm wondering if I'm not on the spectrum, because I notice nothing. My wife I'll walk in the front door and my wife will say, what do you think of the new fountain out front? Fountain? What fountain? Like, you didn't see the fountain right in front of the front door? No. I don't notice anything. But I'm wondering if it manifests in a different way for me.
Everybody is different. That's why they call it a spectrum, is because even individuals who have autism, they present in different ways. As long as you meet certain criteria, then you fit that diagnosis. But some people have more problems with socializing. Some people have more OCD. Like, my oldest is more of a social misfit. He has a harder time fitting in socially and understanding those social cues. Whereas my younger one doesn't have as much of the social things. He's going to be a bit of a bully, I'm afraid. But he's very OCD. Things have to be a certain way or the world is falling apart.
Wow.
Now, I'm curious, because when you said you had to learn, there's something you taught yourself. Was your parents, I don't want to make this about me, but my mother thought I was an odd child. And so my mother told me.
What child?
An odd child.
Oh, okay.
Unwanted as well, but also odd behavior.
Okay.
And my mother came out and told me that my behavior scared her. And so I taught myself, I researched how normal people were supposed to behave, and I would mimic that behavior. So, but that was because my mother came out and just told me, that I scared her.
Yeah.
So did you have someone come out and say to you, your behavior scares me, and that's why you started to mimic things, or you just observed it on your own and then began to mimic that behavior?
Kind of both. Not so much the scared, but annoying kind of followed me through my life. Because I would just, I'd make random noises. I would just do things that were a little odd. As well. It wasn't recognized as much when I was a kid, unless you were disruptive to classes or schooling and stuff. And I never.
Then you were the class clown or the class bully.
Yeah. I mean, ADHD wasn't really that recognized either at when I was a kid. I grew up in a time where it was just like you were a problem child. And if you're a problem child, that's when people noticed you. Right. And so there was a lot of people that went undiagnosed. But I also did do a lot of, say, for example, with the conversations, I didn't know how to talk to people. I wanted to start conversations, but I didn't know how to start them. So I would take notebooks and I'd be like, okay, so-and-so said this. Oh, that was the response. Oh, there's a smile. That must be what I need to say whenever somebody says this line. And so I built myself a script so that I could fit in.
Wow.
Now I don't want to know how old you are, because I'm told if you ask a young lady her age, she'll slit your throat, especially if she's from Canada and has some martial arts training.
Wait,
so I'm not.
Canada? Canada?
But
Canada.
But when I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 60s, and when I was in elementary school, I think we were always taking some kind of test. The Iowa Basic Test Skills. There was like 4 different tests that we were like constantly taking, and so there were kids in our class that were not quite normal, but they would test very well academically, and so there was we didn't have ADHD back then. We had very smart children.
Yes.
And they just said they had to find outlets for them. Nobody was, not one person in my class was ever diagnosed with ADHD or anything like that. But we were all either geniuses or just so smart that they had difficulty socially adapting. It was like no one word captured it. It was like sentences for this child,
And when you say smart, you mean for Black people?
Yeah, smart for a Black person. Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah. And you were right.
My brother alone.
You were right to point that out. It was when the school was 98% Black, so we were smart for Black people.
Yeah, this is a show about we're here to talk about a book, and we end up talking about autism. But just one last little thing on this autism thing. Because in America, I don't know if you know this about America, but we're hung up on autism right now. It seems like we're trying to blame vaccines and all this kind of stuff. My take on it is, it's kind of like we never really tested before. And once you start testing for it, then you start noticing it, and you start saying, "Well, do you think?" I just want to get your take on it. Is this a part of the human condition that has always been with us, that we just are discovering it to be an issue, but it's not really a new thing? It's not like autism just popped up in the last 50 years, right?
Yeah, no, it's been around a lot. I read somewhere, and I don't know how I'm reading this as that's kind of a cool concept, but I don't know how much truth there is. That there was somebody that said that we might still be living in caves if it weren't for autism, because again, out of the box thinkers and creative, just thinking from a different angle and not afraid to.
Right.
I have an autism question. This is my last one before we talk about Forsaken Souls. And that is, when I go to the Black meetings, we have the Black people, we have meetings. There are some Black people that we do not claim. We just, we don't. It's like, and I'm not going to mention any names. Let's say OJ. Let's say there's a guy named OJ. When we go to the meetings, we don't even discuss him. He's like not his persona. Okay. Are there people in the autistic community that you just say, wait a minute, they're autistic, we don't claim them? You just don't want them. You don't want them in your club.
OJ,
like Elon Musk.
There's a club for autistics, but like I said, everybody is different, and I think we're all just more focused on trying to get through life, that we're not worried about what other people are doing.
Yeah, but sometimes you'll find out that someone's autistic. You're going, oh Jesus, man. Well, they give autism a bad name,
when I was growing up, because I have a hard time with hierarchy, and I think I've come to find out that that's a thing. I worked in hospital for many years, and I could never understand why the doctors were treated differently than the janitorial staff. Like that, there's a hierarchy. I couldn't understand that. I had a hard time wrapping my brain around it. It's like, aren't they working for the same purpose? Like, you can't have patients if your rooms aren't cleaned. You can't, have people in the ICU if they don't have laundry. So in my mind, I have a hard time struggling with hierarchies or dividing people into groups and stuff.
Yeah. An interesting part of the human condition is how we, if somebody demands more respect, they get more respect. And I think that's the way it works with doctors versus janitors. Doctors get this complex and a very big ego, and then they start expecting to be treated with more respect, and janitors don't. And that's,
And my mind just didn't.
They go on strike.
Yeah.
Tell me about this person, Callum Walker.
Callum Walker is my protagonist in my series.
Right.
So my series is The Forsaken Souls is the fourth book in my series. Right. And there's our world, our time. There's a coexisting magical realm, but there's a veil that separates us. And we can't see across this veil. We don't have magic. But these creatures that do can and have, and they've been the source of inspiration for our mythologies. And then Callum Walker's a young man born with the ability to use magic. He doesn't know why. He's trying to make the most of it. And he gets embroiled in what's going on in the magical realm, because with magic, he can cross that veil. And then we follow him through the series as he's trying to figure out who he is, where he fits in, because he's too magic for here, but too human for there, and then master these abilities to survive. So the fourth book, which is The Forsaken Souls, is kind of a continuation of that process. He's been through some trauma in the from the third book. And so he's trying to heal. He's trying to open up and learn to trust. He's got some, post-traumatic stress going on. And he's feeling very responsible for things that have happened. So he's on this mission to kind of fix what he feels responsible for. At the same time, he's, learning to, be more open and step into that leadership role when he needs to, but he's got to heal. He also falls in love in the fourth book as well.
I'm very interested in this because most authors I talk to, although a lot of them will deny this, a lot of them eventually will open up and admit the protagonist is in some way a huge reflection of themselves. Not to say it's autobiographical, but it is in some way reflective of their personality, their personhood, their character. Caleb, when this character came to you, was it you set out to write a book and then said, what am I going to name my protagonist and what does he look like? Or did you have an idea of who this person was you wanted to write about before?
I definitely had an idea, and the character just sort of evolved into the role. Every single character in my books, in all of my books, has some element of my personality. I wouldn't say that I am my protagonist, but I had a reader point out to me that my whole arc, my series arc, we're trying to fit in, figure out how to navigate this, too human, too magical, that kind of stuff. I had a reader point out to me that, isn't that kind of mirror your image, your struggle with trying to fit in socially in this confusing world of, our daily life? And I was like, I had not thought about that. So the arc itself, the journey is mine, but my character is not just me.
Okay. Are you a person who's inclined to be attracted to magical thinking in life? Do you believe in magic?
I don't necessarily believe in magic, but I believe there's a lot of unexplained things out there that science is struggling to explain. And then, they may never explain and stuff. And I always wonder about those things. So that's why I said I'm a very what if person. And the start of this series started with the question of, what if fairy tales were real and the monsters were flesh and blood? We just didn't know it. So, and then I just kind of ran with it.
Right. Now,
I have a question about the book.
Wait, let me one more thing. And
it's my turn. You had a question already.
I think my name is on the marquee out here. Yeah. Oh, look. Yes, it is. So the magic part of this, because this is where I've been a magician. and I've been around people who believe in magic, and they're not the same thing. Magician is an actor, but magicians use conjuring method, whether it's waving a wand or doing the bewitched thing, the twitch of the lips or something. There's a magic gesture that makes magic happen. Does he go through spells? Does he? How does he make you say he's been able to create magic?
Yeah. So there's words of power, and there, you'd speak them, and then that would basically be like the, inputting the directions on what you want the magic to do, right? But then later on, he learns to direct magic without using these words of power. He can direct magic with his thoughts. There's lots of elements besides magic in my book, though. I tell people, like, this is a magical fantasy, but there's lots of action adventure because I get bored easily. But there's also supernatural and suspense elements in there as well. I'm a big Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, supernatural TV series fan, so I like those dark aspects, out of the box thinking, and just sort of psychological things, kind of different perspectives.
I'm gonna do ipso facto one my abracadabra and say GD has a question to ask.
Yes, there's something I've begun to notice on the YouTubes and the TikToks, and that is books that people have used AI to illustrate and voice over the book. So like Forsaken Souls, it would be like maybe your script, but it'd be AI imagery to go with the script and an AI voiceover for it. Have you considered something like that to promote the book, to get people's attention that way? So they go like, oh, this is an interesting story. I want to know more. And that way they can...
It's a trap. Let me just say, before you answer that, it's a trap. He hates AI. He's just trying
I do hate AI, but the AI didn't create her book. She created her book. She's now just using AI to help and to enhance what's already there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know what to talk about. I've seen those videos for certain, best-selling books that are out there. I like to pull out quotes from my books that get people thinking, because I do lace it with like little wholesome messages. And I think there's a quote that I pulled out from this one that I thought was really good. It's, the brave will be honored, fools will be mourned, but only the wise live long enough to remember.
Ooh. That is intriguing. I have to say, that's an intriguing line.
That was profound.
Do we need to read the first 3 books? It's like, can I just pick up this book and be entertained by it without having to read the first 3 books?
As you get further into the series, you lose more of that backstory and stuff. I do try to bring out those histories, bring that stuff forward, but unless I want to like have pages and pages of just dumping information on you from history, you're gonna miss a little bit of the backstory by this time.
So how about this? How about if you tell something that needs a little clarity from previous books, you put a little footnote, and in the end of the book, just say book 2. Go to I can't remember the name of the book I'm thinking of now. You go to one of the other books, and this is referred to The Convergence, page 29 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought about that. I actually have seen other authors doing that, not so much as a footnote, but in the beginning where they list the characters' names and go into a little bit of history on them, kind of like a context page. I would like people to read the previous book so that they get a more of an in-depth they can see this character grow throughout the series.
I would like that too. I mean, here's the thing where it gets a little tricky from the business aspect of it. We're promoting a book that is really for people who have read the first 3 books. If you haven't read the first 3 books, you really need to start at the Ascension, which is the first book, and go back to that one and understand that. That's I know the publishing industry loves series, but this kind of thing there's prerequisites in a lot of ways, and that's a difficult thing. I can't like in comedy or the other things we cover, comedy or music or acting. It's very rare that you'd say, well, this is the show that's Tuesday night, but in order to really appreciate it, you got to go back a few years and watch
I have attempted to do that. I mean, I do make mentions that, when I'm going through this 4th book, and I'll make mentions, his opinion on dwarves, and he's not had much luck with dwarves, I mentioned something aside from this one plucky dwarf who helped him out, and that was
Joe
in the
Rogan?
second book, and just kind of make mention of it, so that there's a backstory. If you want to read it, you can. You will miss a little bit of his growth. You'll see him in the middle of his arc, or somewhere around there, right? So you'll see him in the middle of the arc, but you're not going to see the whole picture of it. You'll still enjoy it.
Now, are you self-published or are you traditionally published through a traditional publisher?
I'm indie published through through Maverick First Press Inc.
The covers for the book are exquisite, and they're very interesting. They're compelling. They make you want to pick up the book. I notice we never see his face. He's always got his back to us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's done with create a little mystery, suspense.
We're following him.
Yeah. Are you involved in the cover design and or do you just hand it off to an artist and say?
Somewhat. I have a general idea, and I have a designer that I'll tell them my idea. This is what I want, and they, they'll give me some choices of pictures. And I'll be like, yeah, I like that, like this picture from this idea, and I like that background. And can we combine them? And yeah, so I do have a little bit of input, but they do most of the art.
And it's very thematic in its approach to this thing. Again, we see I'm assuming this is the protagonist with either with their back turned to us or a hood pulled over, so you never see their face.
Yeah.
And it's kind of changing in colors. The question is, how long can you keep this up? Like, can you? And I know it's got to be really difficult to end the series, like, because you become attached to it's like a family member or it's part of yourself, and you can't. For most of us, killing ourselves off would be like, I feel like I really did kill myself in this, so it's got to be difficult. But you're running the colors of spectrums with these colors. I'm just like, how long can you just go on?
Each color has different shades, though.
Okay. What about that idea? Will there be a fifth book? Or
the fifth book is in the works. I know where the series is going to end. I don't know how many books there's going to get to the series. I'm aiming for 6 to 9. I'm not certain. I haven't narrowed it down to a number, but I do know where the series is going to end.
Steven, she did not say 69. She said 6 to 9.
Yes, 6 to 9.
Yeah. Steven got all excited when you said it sounded like 69, and I saw him. Wait, what?
Look, who doesn't get excited for a dinner for two, right? So,
right.
I would like to eventually, work on other projects as well, because fantasy isn't the only genre that I enjoy writing in. So
okay, now you know how it's going to end. Did you kind of draft out the entire arc of his life story?
Roughly, yeah.
Wow.
Most of it's in my head. I'm not a big plot planner. For specific details, I have to, but when I start a book or like in the series, I know where to start, I know where to end, I know approximately what needs to happen in the middle, and the rest just sort of fills itself in.
Are you do you sit down every day to write?
Oh yes, it started as a hobby, became a passion, then an obsession. Now it's just cheaper than therapy.
So let's just say you go on a family vacation or something. You compelled to do it then, or can you go a day without writing, or does it make you feel like I didn't brush my teeth today? I didn't write.
Yeah. I think about it when I'm not writing about it. When I'm not writing, I'm thinking. And if I didn't write, I wouldn't sleep. So going on family vacations, I take my computer with me.
So are you
ever change? Oh, go ahead, Steve.
So are you? So you're constantly putting out content then from your brain to paper then constantly. Yeah. That's awesome. I would kill to have even an eighth of that kind of drive to be able to write regularly.
I don't know if I call it a drive, maybe more of a hyper focus obsession. I've been writing for 34 years, and it's just become a part of who I am.
I feel that. I was technically diagnosed with Asperger's 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they latched onto was my obsessiveness on certain things, right? Like it's not a lot of things. Like for me, it's airplanes, comedy, space, and aliens. Yep. Like for me, those are the things those have been the constants in my life for pretty much ever. And so I totally get that. But to be able to write like that constantly.
What about the heroin? That doesn't fall into.
That was more of a hobby. But
all right, fine. I'm sorry. I feel empty if I don't beat up on Stephen a little bit here. I feel like, but
Fair.
the reason do you ever see a point in your life where that, I don't want to call it an obsession, but that need to do that subsides? Because I'll just share a little bit about why I'm asking this question. I've been married twice, and been in lots of relationships, and every woman has made the same comment about my need to pick up a guitar and hold a guitar even when I'm not playing it, just to kind of noodle around a little bit on it. And that was a need. And some point in the last few years, I realized it stopped, and I don't know when it stopped, but I could never picture myself not doing that. And it comes as a shock to me to look back and say, when did that need stop? Do you think that need to write will ever subside in you?
I don't, well, it hasn't happened yet. It has, if anything, it's grown stronger. But I know right after my kids were born, when they were really little, I couldn't write as much. But I was constantly jotting down notes in books while they were napping or crawling around on the floor. I'm like, oh, I have an idea for this, or I'm Googling something on my cell phone, just like, constantly thinking about it and stuff. I mean, some people, people would call it probably an obsession. But it's just, it's who I am. And I mean, we're all different. We all have something that intrigues us, and writing and dog breeds happens to be my special interests.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It's because I'm still in a period of trying to like introspection and trying to figure out for me when that happened, because it was for an obsession and an addiction. I could not go a day without at least going through the motions of writing a song, whether I wrote a song or not. And now I don't. I can go weeks, I can go months, and I never thought that would happen. And it's a weird place to be, to say why and what caused it. I think the pandemic might have had a lot to do with it, if I'm being honest, but who knows?
Maybe you overdid it. Maybe you just need a little break. Maybe it'll come back.
I used to say it's because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but part of the creative process, people say, how do you get into it? You have to have something to say.
Yeah.
And I think I've said all I really, I like to hear the sound of my own voice and ramble on, kind of like GD. We have that in common. But at some point, I feel like maybe I ran out of things to say, and I'm just saying the same things over and over again. And that's where that comes from, I think.
I know writers will experience writer's block, and it's inevitable. And it's just like your creative part of your brain just shuts down, and you can't create. Whatever causes this writer block, I believe it's different for everybody. For me, in order to overcome it, I have to figure out what's caused it. And a lot of times it's just life stress. And if I can deal with life stress, or my giant to be done list, then my creativity comes back. Maybe it's a matter of just finding out what's causing your creative block.
Yeah. It's a very interesting writer's block. Is a very interesting condition. For me, it always comes back to, maybe I have nothing to say, and maybe I just need to kind of reflect and take in the world. Maybe this is the time to listen instead of talk.
Yeah. Or do something different, maybe.
Yeah.
Out of your comfort zone, and then experience something new, and then maybe you'll have something more to talk about.
What about business? Because most artists are reluctant to talk about this, but because it's an uncomfortable thing. It's a creative thing. You do it for your soul, but at some point it becomes a business. And the books and authorship is much like comedy. Musicians have always been this way, so this is nothing new. But in the world of writing right now, and in the world of performing, especially stand-up comedy, oh my God, it's just like everybody wants to do it, and now everybody can do it. Everybody's got this opportunity. So the question I'm really taking too long to ask: are people reading the books, and how do you track that? How many people actually reading the book?
I'm tracking that just by people posting reviews. When I go to book signings, and I do quite a few of them, people will come in, and there's now more and more people coming in and saying, "Oh, I read your book. I posted a review," or "I'm following you on Instagram and I saw you were here." I had one gal that sent her husband. They live up in the Yukon, and her husband was working in Calgary and saw that I was at a book signing and sent her husband in to get a copy of the signed book. I got an email from somebody in the UK who was amazed that I used, Callum Walker as the name, because that's his name. And he was, he'd never seen that combination, first and last name used. And he was wondering how I came up with the name. And then I was telling him kind of my process and stuff, and if he needed a book signed. And he's like, "Well, it'd be hard because I'm like in the, London." And I was like, "Yeah, I can't swim that far. I'm sorry."
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't.
so those
that's
kind
got to
of
be a weird thing, because if I read a book about some guy with magical powers and then his name happened to be Matt Nappo, I'd be like, "Wow." I don't know. I'm sent me into like a weird kind of mindset, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. Now, when you hear from people, are they mostly women? I'm thinking most of your readership is women, right?
the majority of my readership are women. I think it's about a 40, 60, 30, 70 kind of split.
Wow, I would be that good for you. I mean, because my thing, and now it's not that women are into magical stuff. They're not into, listen, romance novels, we can definitely say are the forte of women. But I think guys are just dumb. Guys don't, the amount of men who actually read books is astonishingly small. And so 30%, wow, that's a high number. I would have thought it more like 3%, to be honest with you. 'Cause
I
we
would
just
have
don't
guessed
read.
like a 90-10 split personally, but
Yeah, I was a little surprised as well, but I'm happy. Maybe it might have something to do with the fact that my protagonist is a male. I have elements of
that
romance, in the
helps.
books, but I don't write spicy romance, and I think that's less spicy romance is less attractive to male readers. I
There's
think
no sex in this at all.
there is not. It's a young adult, new adults, like teens and 20s. But I've had, like, my audience varies from my 8-year-old son up to octogenarians. So most of the people who read my book are women in my age group.
Yeah, I think most of the people who read books are women in your age group. It's just, I would love to see more guys. And here's the thing with guys. Guys will tell you they read a lot.
Yeah.
But when they mean they read a lot, is they're on Wikipedia for like a half an hour a day reading like the Reader's Digest condensed version of real nonfiction stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had this conversation with my husband because he doesn't read fiction, and I had to basically almost twist his arm off to get him to read my novel. I was like, if I was an artist, you would be able to see my work and appreciate it, but because I write, it takes a little longer to appreciate it. But once he got started, he's like, "I hate how you end your chapters because I want to just read one chapter and go to bed, but now I got to read like 3 or 4."
Does that matter to you?
What, that my husband's reading them?
That your husband doesn't read your because I'm projecting a little bit here. My wife, most of again, I've had many relationships. This is my second marriage. My wife, I don't think she might have out of like 2,000 gigs or 3,000 gigs that I've played since I've known her, she might have come to 1 or 2, and so she doesn't come to gigs. And I'm also a visual artist. If I paint something, I gotta put it in front of her face for like for her to acknowledge it. Does that bother you that your husband is a non-reader or
Not that he's a non-reader, but that, I made this thing, I want him to read it. So he did read it. So that's, kudos to him. But he's a big fan of board games, and I don't like board games. I mean,
Yeah.
I like some board games. I like them every now and then, but he'd play like one every couple hours, and he's got a whole bookcase of board games. So everybody has their own hobbies, and we're all
I know,
different.
but for me, and this is why I asked the question. For me, I wonder, how did I end up with somebody who's just not interested in live music when that's my life? Or it's like, what made me choose to be with her? And then I'm not regretting that. I'm just curious about myself. It's like, this is somebody who's not into what I do. How did that happen?
Maybe
It gives you an escape, though.
Howdy, Bill.
Matt, and invented because sometimes you may need a break from the music, and it's good to have somebody in your life who's just not into that, so that when you take a break from the music, you're really taking a break from the music because they're not going to ask you a damn thing about your music.
Should I see the receptionist and set up another appointment? From my psychiatrist at GD. He's kind of helped me work through my issues with my wife here.
I don't think it's bad for anybody to talk to a counselor.
Yeah. Well, he's very bad advice. He told me, well, you don't want to hear what he told me to do, but I could get arrested for the things he tells me to do.
Also, it's because what I told him to do is physically not possible, but people keep trying it all the time.
He told me to off Steven, and I just off Steven. Yeah. So, it's just interesting how now, is there something when you're writing, is there a confident somebody you pass the draft off as you're writing, like finish a chapter? What do you think of this? Do you do any of that? Or
yeah, I've got a circle of friends, and I'll bounce ideas off. It's like, oh, I finished the scene. I wanted to know if you can visualize and what you think of it, and I will read it to them. Like, I have to alternate, so I have to go through my friends, because if I just go to the same one all the time, every time I pick up the phone, it's like, can I read you something? They might get tired and hang up on me. Like, oh, I did this again.
I have to answer a creative coach who is going to come on the program. I have to get back to him in an email, but I've been following this guy for a couple of weeks now, and he says, don't wait. Don't wait to get feedback. Do it as you're creating something.
Yep.
Get feedback often as possible. Now, for me as a songwriter, that would not be. I don't know if that works to my advantage to say I wrote a verse. What do you think of this? And now here's the chorus. What do you think of that? I think that would be a little bit too much. But I think writing a book. I know when I was writing my first book, I did it as I would complete a chapter. I'd send it off to my goddaughter and say, read this, and then she would come back with her. So would take that feedback, and does it ever make you change or alter direction or go back and edit yourself because of that feedback? Or you get it and then do what you're going to do anyway?
It's more like it depends on the feedback, because if they're saying, oh, there's a serious plot hole here that I didn't notice, I just need other eyes on it. I tend to go cross-eyed after a while, but I send a chapter. I usually do a chapter at a time and get feedback and stuff. And I mostly got a list of things I want them to kind of ask me, or like to think about when they're reading it and stuff. If they said that, yeah, there was a serious plot hole, this dialogue doesn't feel natural, I'll take that advice. For the most part, it's just, can you visualize what I'm trying to explain here?
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that's like little things will get taken care of in editing.
All right, cool enough. So now, is this book out? Forsaken Souls is the name of the book. Is this out now, or it's pre-order?
June 1st is when it's going to be released.
That's like a week and a half.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And it will be available now. Because I see this all the time. If I go to Amazon.com, there are things that are, if you have your own Amazon.ca, right?
Yeah. It's going to be available also on Amazon.com as well.
Okay. And UK and all those kind of things? Because I don't know why. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we have lots of books, authors come on, and their books are only available in a different Amazon. That to me.
Yeah, there's a setting that you can do when you're uploading a book where you can say, do you want it just regional or do you want it international?
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I learned something about why. I don't know why you would do that. Why would you limit yourself? You make it. I want it available on Mars if it can be.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have it available to everybody. I don't know how they do that with non-English speaking countries, because I don't format it into different languages. So they must do something with Amazon to have it available.
Yeah, it must be. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. jmshawauthor.com.
Yes.
Link is in the description to make it easy for people. Name of the book is Forsaken Souls. It is the 4th in the series. You might want to start with Ascension, which is the first one, but according to the author here, we there are some indications that you might not actually need the whole read all 4 books to get some entertainment value and some insight into this book, right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, Jennifer. Thank you.
Well, Anne from California says it sounds like a great book, and best wishes, J.M. Shaw.
See, there you go. Anne from California, buy the book. Go pre-order it at JM. Can they order it at your site today?
Yeah, if you go to my website, there's links to find the books online. It will be up on Kobo later. It's for now. It's just on Amazon. There's a link for .ca. There's a link for .com.
So do you go by JM or Jennifer? I mean,
I go by JM on my book, but my name is Jennifer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Have a great day up in Canada, the next United States, the 51st state there.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for being here, and it's been a pleasure. And good luck with the book.
Thank you so much. It was lovely being here.
Bye for now. Look, Steven's down there with a book in front of his face.
And his face never looked better.
I'm going to take the book out. How do I take the book out? You remember how to take the book out? Something like this? Yeah.
I didn't think you could take it out till you got to the end. I thought you had to get to the end to take the book out.
You're big on this whole magical thinking thing, aren't you? You're like a magical thinking guy.
I don't know what you mean by magical thinking.
Magical thinking.
I don't know what you mean by it.
Well,
it doesn't register to me. I don't think I'm a magical thinking guy, but I don't know what that means to you.
Did God create the universe?
No.
No?
No.
I thought you were like a theologian, like minister or something.
Yeah, but when you study the Bible as a book, you notice the inconsistencies and the things in it that necessarily can't be true. Literally, it's not literal. It's full of allegories and full of contradictions as well.
What about God? Do you believe in God?
Yes and no. I don't believe in the. I don't believe in the man. I don't believe in the. I don't believe in the guy on the throne. You know, the big white guy with the beard and stuff like that. I believe in more of a collective consciousness as possible.
That's magical. Isn't that magical?
I said I believe in. I don't know. Very magical. I lean that way because I seen things that lean me to think in that direction. You know, I have things that there's lots of stuff that I can't explain.
I know. Well, believe me, I'm not being judgmental here, but this whole because I struggle with this. I think I think that I don't want to be a person who believes in magical thinking, but in the middle of the night when I'm asking to die, I'm asking God to take my life. And like, wait a minute, you don't believe in who are you asking? What is this? It's a very weird thing for me. I'm full of contradictions on this.
When I'm alone, and I mean, there's a place I can go in my head when I don't even exist as it's Glenn, it's GD. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a musician. I'm not a husband or a son or anything. I'm just literally just part of one with my environment. And when I'm in that place, I feel like I can communicate with nature, and I feel like I can, and this is the things I've witnessed and seen. Me as a person, I have arachnophobia. But I've been in situations where there have been people who are more terrified of spiders than me, and they start to freak out. And so I will put my hand down and pick up the spider and take it outside. And in those moments, I feel like I can talk to the spider and say, please don't bite me or scare me. I just, this is for your own good. And these are the thoughts I'm having with the spider. And in that moment, I believe the spider understands, because it literally, on a few occasions, the spider will just hop into my hand and let me take it outside. I've done that with wasps. I've done that with bees, other insects that in nature I'm afraid of. I don't like to be bothered with. Snakes, same thing. I don't like things like that. But I can find a place in my head and in my heart that I feel like I can communicate with them and, do it. And then as soon as it's over, I'm back to being afraid and scary and big sissy.
You just you ruined my next month because you mentioned wasps and bees. I'm terrified of those. But
it's not even a terrify. It's like I don't like them because for the most part, I've yellow jackets, and some of them are just fucking nasty. Okay, they just mean. They're just plain mean. Okay, so I've been stung at times when there was no need to sting me. I wasn't out to get them. I was accidentally standing. I was working near a nest. I wasn't going to harm them. I had no idea. I didn't even know they were there until they started stinging me.
I have the opposite. I've been traumatized a couple of times in my life. When I was 5 years old, I stepped on a beehive and was like swarmed on. They had to roll me in mud, throw me in a lake.
Just trying to drown you.
Yeah, basically. And it was like, I think I was like, and then the guy next door worked at the dump, and he brought home a swing set. He would bring stuff home from the dump. People would throw stuff at him, but it's good, bring it home. And he brought home a swing set, and we would set it up in the backyard, and we were playing it. And one of the guys was yelling in the pipe along the top, and making the echo sound. It's cool. It's whoa, whoa. It sounds like a loudspeaker. So I went and I yelled in the other end, and there was a wasp nest right there. They all just came out and covered me. So I traumatic experiences with stingers and insects that sting, and it sticks with me today. A couple of years ago, I was working on the roof, cleaning off the gutters, and I fell off the roof into bushes full of bees. I got stung by bees, and I didn't have an EpiPen or any other, and I was feeling like because I'm allergic to the bee stings now after being stung so many times.
3 years
And so
ago,
I'm going to drive myself to the hospital and passed out behind the wheel. And
God.
I know. And I guess I drove off the road, and the car was like half on the curb, and I'm like half unconscious. The cop came over and found me and shot me up with an EpiPen. So, you know, those whole
man, I got 3 years ago, we were on the back porch here at my brother's house, and we didn't realize that there was a bee's nest had formed in the umbrella under his, the patio furniture.
Yeah.
And he went to start opening it, and they just fucking swarmed. And I remember reading, like, if you don't panic and don't freak out, they might land on you, but they won't sting.
Right.
He left me out there, ran inside, slammed the sliding door shut, and left me out there surrounded. They're crawling into my beer bottle and all over my face. And I'm just like, don't freak out.
I just want to address
I got a real flow, crashed into the house, shut the door. And I was like, you motherfucker. And he goes, what are you? If we both got stung, we both would have been fucked. And I'm like, oh, so you left me so you can call 911? He's like, yeah. I was like, great.
Falmouth says you can believe in the Dallas Cowboys, you can believe in God. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many Dallas Cowboys have won more than one Super Bowl, right? More than
not in the last 30 years.
They've won more Super Bowls than God have.
Well, I'm just saying, you talk about the Dallas Cowboys. You should talk to a Jet fan. Yeah, the Jets. 1969 is a long time ago. Stephen,
now
69.
Matt, just for the record, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I had a friend of mine who was scheduled to retire May 2nd of this year. He died April 28th before he got to retire. He just before he started. He had he'd been there for like a lot of years, so he had like a lot of vacation time that he'd accrued. And so his last day of working was supposed to be like May 2nd, and he was supposed to take all this vacation and then retire. And like a few weeks before he left work, he found out he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and gone just like that. He never even made it to his retirement party. Wow. Well, it wasn't a retirement party, but it was a big retirement. But it was like a funeral. It was a big retirement. It wasn't we'll see you at the next party, right? It was more like, ooh, shit.
See, you got to use up all your vacation time. This is why. And you don't want to die. You want to use you want to be maxed out on your credit cards too, because in case you die, you want to owe people money when you die. If you owe people money when you die, you win.
As long as you don't have anybody to collect from, because they will try to go after your kinfolk.
Right. I want to come back to what you were talking about, arachnophobia, because this is in your special there that Blind Mike was obsessing on the Peter Squirter, Parker Squirter, whatever, the Spider-Man thing, and was talking about that for like 5 minutes, because there's a little thing about that arachnophobia. Are you ready? You want to have Mike? Because I didn't even ask your permission. I just.
I'm fine. I appreciate the attention. The only problem I have with them is that they're coming from. They started off with a bad concept, a bad premise, you know, because I recorded it in 2016. I originally recorded in 2016, and I lost there were issues with the YouTube thing, and I had to start over. I had to recreate my account, and so everything went back to zero. You know, so and originally when it was on YouTube, it was on the 90-minute special was on. There was 40 minutes cut out of it, and it had like thousands of views on YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that. Once I had to fix it on YouTube and I lost my views and I had to start from zero, I said, well, hell, if I'm starting from zero, I might as well just put the full 2-hour, 8-minute thing. You know, I might as well just do that. It gives that way if people come back, there's something different to look at least new material. So they see it as being done in 2020.
But he acknowledged that it was from 2016. He did say that.
He did now because I've corrected him a lot of times. I've corrected, and I keep saying, you fucking idiots. It was recorded in 2016. Therefore, they're saying, why is he making this reference? That's stupid. This is like a 5-year-old reference. It's like, because it was 5 years ago when I recorded it, you fucking morons. So that's why he's acknowledging it now, because I've corrected them. And the sheer fact that he acknowledged that, that I've commented means he's corrected it, means he's read the comments. So
we have to be nice when he comes?
No, that's what I'm getting to. Is it going to be like just us wanting to fight? Because I don't want to fight. I want to really ask him some serious questions about: is there something that fills his need in life to just go negative on people, just to look for things? Because there are some people I will say negative things about, but I don't set out thinking I want to take this guy apart. I want to find somebody and say negative things about them. So if they do something to me, like Willie did something to me, why I'm so negative to Willie? Willie took money from me. He abused me. He abused every opportunity I gave to him, and then he blamed it on me, like I'm the bad guy. I'm the reason that this shit has happened to him, when I'm the only one who actually fucking gave him a fucking shot in life that he didn't deserve. I will go negative on him, but I didn't go out thinking, let me find the guy who fucking robs flower shops and goes to prison for it, so I could fucking be negative and say negative things about him. He did something to me, and so I comment on that, and I don't go looking for people to say, yeah, who can I hurt? Who can I say something bad about? And I want to know.
That's also why you keep me around, because you have that here.
I'm waiting for you to fuck me over so I could fucking tear you apart. No,
that's not who I am, man. I'm sorry. It's just not who I am.
You'll get there. But anyway, no. But seriously, I mean, what does he get out of it? That's where why I want to have him on. Like, what is your motivation in doing this? Because it's not like most people that go negative on the internet get big audience. His audience, he's been doing this as long as we have, or as long as I have. And he's got like 11,000 subscribers. He's not killing. He's not making mint off it. So what are you getting out of it? Why continue just trying?
There is, like I said, I used to be curious as to why they were fixated on me. I mean, I know how they came across me. How? Because they were really anti Tom Myers. They really hated Tom Myers, and they came across something that Tom Myers had done together. Tom Myers and I had done together, the Done Way Past Funny interview, and so they glammed onto me because of that.
And now Tom and him are friends, right? Or no?
So I don't know the answer to that. According to them, they are kind of they are. I don't know. But and Tom says he's all right with me. Tom says that Blind Mike is all right with Tom. So, and I don't have a problem with Blind Mike per se. I mean, if they want to do that, fine. My issue is what my issue has been since I was a child. I hate being misrepresented. I can't stand that. I will take the lumps for the things I did. I will take the lumps for the things I did poorly or well. I will gladly do that. But for them to dissect, the material in the middle of a setup or the middle of a punchline and then break the rhythm so that everybody who's watching it for the first time gets that same distorted viewpoint without having seen it for themselves. That kind of bothers me. But those people have a choice. If they want to know, the whole video is out there. They can watch it themselves. And I've had 2 people comment to me that said it really wasn't as bad as what they think it was. It was actually pretty good. And I just should have spent more money on my background. Which, and in a way I agree with them, but there was supposed to have been a different background. They said there was going to be a black curtain because I had a long-term theory. I was going to shoot every special with a black curtain, and so that I could interject. I could always edit them together. So it'd be some kind of continuity. And they said, okay, we'll have a black curtain. And when I show up for the recording, there's no black curtain. They still have the white movie screen back there. And if they don't move the movie screen, then you see the door back there. And I had a choice. I could show the door or the movie screen. And I said to them, well, leave the movie screen. I said, at some point, I will put comments on the screen in post-production, But
let me ask you, how do you this maybe you don't want to share this. How does it come to your awareness? Because you were aware that he had gone back to your special and was tearing it apart the other night. Did somebody tell you about it? Do you have a Google notification? How do you find out?
No, this is bizarre. I was on this show and somebody in the comments had mentioned Blind Mike and me. But me on Blind Mike or something.
I remember that.
I thought I was being punked because I'd never heard of Blind Mike, and so how would Blind Mike ever find out about me? And so this person, I thought I was being punked, and the person showed up again and referenced Blind Mike and me, and I'm like, okay, I don't.
Because you mentioned me one of those times, also. Remember?
Right. Yeah, and from that point, I went on to check out Blind Mike, and I just Googled Blind Mike and G.D. Fenderson, and all of these fucking episodes start popping up. And they're doing an hour on me, an hour. And I think they've done I may be wrong, because there was Blind Mike, and there's also a different show. Was it these podcast people or garbage?
Yeah. Who are these podcasts?
Right.
And then he's got another one. He does one that's called "What Are You Laughing At?" or something like that, or basically where they're also taking apart podcasts and stuff. It seems like a thing to do.
Yeah. So they latched onto me and then latched onto this show because of me, because I'm here, and so they started attacking the people here. And I apologize for drawing fire.
Well, I didn't feel attacked when.
I'm just,
I felt attacked by who are these podcast guys, but I also agreed with them about their critique of me. I thought it was spot on. What they were saying to me, there's a guy who trying to be a morning radio guy. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. There's no doubt about it. Here's my purpose in life, and he's absolutely right. What I do this because I miss radio. I want to be on radio. I can't get a job on radio, and I wanted to do this, and I'm doing it for me. I do it because in the mornings, this feels good. It starts my day where I get to express myself, get some shit off my chest, and move on with the day.
That's same thing with me. I love, that's the reason I can't stay away. It's because it's a great way to start the day and have some fun and bullshit with some friends, and they go on with the bullshit of the day.
And I can stay away. I just haven't yet.
Well, we'll take your shackles off maybe this afternoon so you can get some laps.
Yeah.
As far as the Blind Mike goes, I don't really have a beef with him per se. I don't have a beef with him not liking my comedy.
I'm a little. I'm angry for you.
Well, but I don't, like I said, I don't tend everybody to like my comedy. If everybody liked my comedy, then I would have been famous already. So obviously, not everybody likes my comedy.
It's not that he doesn't like your comedy; it's the approach to it.
Well, and I think he's,
I don't know what you mean by that, Stephen. Honestly, I'm trying to.
I just feel like if I just feel like it'd be more constructive and probably would have been better content if they would have had GD on. And they talked about it with him.
Well, he was asked if Tom Myers asked him if he would have GD on. He said, "I don't know what I would talk to him. I don't know what I would say to him or what I would ask him about."
Talk about the fucking sets you talked about forever.
Yeah,
like it's not that hard. That's what I mean by his approach. It almost feels like it's not exactly talking behind your back, but it's kind of that. Like he's doing it. And it wasn't even really brought to your attention for you to see. You found it because somebody mentioned it, and then you did a Google search. This wasn't like, hey, we're reviewing your shit, FYI. It was nothing.
I want to know what the purpose of it is. He trying?
Right, that's what I mean.
Is he trying to tell people not to watch GD's thing? And here's the absolute truth. Blind Mike has seen an hour or more of GD special than I have. And the reason I will say this absolutely with complete honesty, I wouldn't watch George Carlin's special if it was 90 minutes. And I don't watch specials in general, but anything more than 40 minutes, I'm not even starting it. And we say, well, you could just skip through. No, I can't do that. If I'm going to watch it, I have to commit to watching the whole thing. And there's no way in hell I'm watching anything. Any piece of comedy content that is 90 minutes long. I'm just not doing it, first of all. And then second of all, it's like this whole, you could chop it up into little bits. The way I experience comedy, and this probably is not the way that most people do, I let it come to me. I let the algorithms choose what they think I would enjoy, and if the thumbnail and the title is compelling to me, I will click on it. If I see that it's not like super long, or like short bits is all I can. I have a short attention span theater when it comes to comedy. I like songs. I want a 3-minute and 10-second song. So for that reason, I don't watch comedy specials. So I give him credit for actually watching over an hour of it, because I would never do that. I won't.
Well, he said the reason why he watched it was because it's what kind of egotist to have a 2-hour comedy special. And it's not like I was being an egotist. It's just that when I started doing comedy, I knew I had it in my heart that I would never be good enough to be discovered, and that someone would want to give me a comedy special. And so I said, I will start writing my own, and I will do my own. And the only reference point I had for a comedy special was Christopher Titus.
Does he do 90-minute specials?
Yeah, I think so. At least that's the impression I got in my head, that he does 90-minute specials.
I feel like the one I've seen of his was 90 minutes. It was long.
And so I watched it, and I loved it. And Christopher Titus, is, like I said, it is one of my favorite comedians. And because of that, because he's the only one, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't follow comedians. If I saw them on HBO, I could tell that they'd been chopped up. So like it's a 30-minute show. So I just assumed it was longer, and they just got the best 30 minutes or something like that. I just couldn't see like George Carlin doing like a 30-minute set. Really? No. I just assumed they all did 90 minutes, just cut them up. Christopher Titus, I had his DVDs, and they were like 90-minute shows. And so when I wrote my first show, I said, I'm going to write it like Christopher Titus, because he was my reference. And so I wrote a 90-minute show, and I did it, performed it several times, a lot of places. And it was like 86 minutes, 89 minutes. I had it down to an art. I said, bam, I know exactly what I'm doing. And the night when we recorded, the guy who was supposed to give me a 30-minute warning every 30 minutes, so I have a pacing, know what I'm doing. 5 minutes into the show, he had a family emergency. We were already recording, and he didn't know how to interrupt me to let me know that he had a family emergency. I just see him up and leave the venue. I see him up and run out. And I'm like, fuck. And I said, and then all of a sudden I said to myself, I will have no idea what time it is. I should have, because I had the material. If I just stuck with the material, I'd have been fine. I'd have been 86 minutes, 89 minutes. But I kept wavering. I kept thinking, like, what happened? Why did he leave? And I lose track, and I start to ramble a little bit. And then I get it back, and next thing you know, it's like 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Wow, I must be an odd duck or something. Obviously, I'm not a normal person, but I see 90 minutes on their comedy. There's no way I'm even starting it, because I know my attention span theater would short attention span theater would want me to fast forward, skip back for look for funny moments, and then it's not the experience that I want. And
there's some specials that I watch where I'm like, man, I didn't want that to end. I could have easily sat through 2 hours of it. And then there's some where I'm like, oh, that could have.
Yeah, it depends. I mean,
it really varies.
I looked at it like this. In my mind, first of all, I don't have an opener. I was doing this. I don't have like a host, an opener, a middle guy. So if I'm doing a show for everybody, I mean, it's like a movie, a 90-minute movie, and that's how I view it. Only thing is, the difference is I'm doing the 90 minutes and I'm replacing the host, warming up the audience. I'm replacing the feature, I'm just doing all of those jobs. So it's a 90-minute special, but basically it's a 90-minute show, and I'm just doing all of the jobs.
Yeah, but it's a 90-minute show now, not in a comedy club where you'd have people doing all those jobs. It's with somebody sitting on their sofa, and for me, 9 minutes in, I don't care if the news guy is saying the world is coming to an end, nuclear bombs have just been launched towards the United States. 9 minutes in or 5 minutes in, I'm starting to snooze. I can't sit in the chair and watch television. I'm
I get it. And I don't find, I have there was a guy, we were friends when I used to work at that company that runs with Random House, and he had when we were in the we'd eat lunch together every day. And he says, man, you are hilarious. You're hilarious. And I would have him cracking up in the lunchroom. And so when I finally got this done and I had the DVD, he goes, I will buy when it's ready. He says, I won't come out to a club because I don't like comedy clubs, but I'll buy the DVD. I said, oh, that's fine too. So people, buying the DVD and stuff. And he watches it and he goes, I didn't like it. And I said, okay. And the thing is, he watched it, and he didn't want to say anything for like 3 weeks at work. He would avoid eye contact with me, and he wouldn't talk to me. He'd see me coming, and he'd go like, fuck. And his girlfriend was also friends of mine, and she thinks I'm hilarious as well at work. Now she did like the DVD, he didn't, and he didn't want to tell me that he didn't like it, and he kept avoiding me. And so one time we were just like there, and his girlfriend was telling me about it, and he looked at me. And I said, is there something wrong? He goes, I didn't like it. I said, okay. He goes, okay. I said, yeah, I don't expect everybody to like it. He goes, oh man. I said, now I'm just curious. So I said, did you not like it because of the lighting or the jokes? So he says, it's not my brand of humor. He goes, you're a different person in the lunchroom, but on stage, that's something totally different. He goes, I like Rick and Morty. And I didn't know what Rick and Morty was. So I just assumed that people who like Rick and Morty wouldn't like me. I just don't know.
Wow.
He likes the quick. Well, Rick and Morty are 15-minute episodes. It's quick, witty, fast paced. Versus,
and I'm a storyteller.
You're a storyteller, and some of them take a few minutes. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I don't hate him for it. Like I say, to this day we're still friends.
Yeah. So the bottom line here is, I think Blind Mike, who's not really blind, I don't know what the fuck it was.
I thought he was. I don't know. I thought he really was blind because he seems like.
How can he read your captions if he's really?
I think he could be legally blind. In other words, you could still see. You could be so visually impaired that you are not allowed. You're legally blind, and so you could say, "I'm blind," but you still can see if the print is big enough or whatever. But I'm assuming he's blind because there's some things that if you weren't blind, you would know. When you watch your thing, it's like he didn't know that there were subtitles.
I thought he did because he kept saying
in the beginning he didn't know.
Oh,
and so he goes, what? Where are you getting this from? And so I'm assuming that he
I'm just going to make a suggestion. If you take those dark glasses off, maybe you'll see the subtitles. That's all I'm just saying. It seems like that would make it harder.
And he also didn't get that they were subtitles and not closed caption.
Right.
So,
well, yeah.
What?
Matt, who do we have on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I don't think we have a guest. Here's the deal tomorrow, and here's your nickel. That guy that gave us the questions and the pronunciation of his name, he's the guy who put in the calendar just John. And I sent to him, I need more than just John. Apparently, he scheduled 2 shows, and he figured that I would know John was the guy from the. It's not like we haven't had another John on in fucking 900 shows on this.
Is it with an H or no H? Because it makes a difference. Which John we're talking about?
They both have H's, but you know what? And then I wrote to him and said I need more than John. He never got back to me, so I'm thinking I'm not going to have him on tomorrow. I'm not. I didn't send him a link. I didn't even create the bucket for him because I'm like, what the fuck, man? I feel like you're just sticking me around with just not only do I have
around.
And he didn't show up last week, and no explanation for that. No, I'm the other John, the guy, So he's not going to.
Yeah.
Fuck him. We got nobody.
Fuck that guy.
That's your answer. We got nobody tomorrow.
Okay.
But the bottom line.
Well, let's try to get Carl.
All right.
I'll reach out to him.
Can I get to the bottom line, you bottom fucking feeder? When Blind Mike comes on, I don't want to end up fucking making it a hate fest. But I do want to be confrontational on it. Like confront them on what the fuck is the motivation here? Why are you doing this? What do you get out of it? But I don't want it to be just like let's gang up on this guy. Let's get him on. I want it to be
let's find out what makes him come.
Yeah. So are we going to be able to do that, GD, or are you going to get like really defensive and angry?
No, I'm not going to get defensive at all. Now, if he gets disrespectful, I will retort in kind. But if if he starts, but I'm not. If I don't care that
you're going to say, you blind motherfucking white boy, I will.
I'll hold my tongue until I have to, and then if it gets to that point, then I'll let loose.
I like to hold. I like to hold your tongue.
He had an opportunity to have me on the show. He didn't want it. He's coming on here. I will be, respectful. And I'm hoping that his audience.
We have breaking news. Steven is a fat, homely loser who kisses his cousins with tongues. That is all. All right.
Love you too, buddy.
I'm hoping that some of his followers, especially the ones that really like to bash me in comments, show up as well to watch.
So they can watch him fucking cry. Sorry.
See, I think a lot of those people are, for whatever this means, fans of his and just want to support him. And like they all were, this is what we're doing now. We're bashing this guy GD who we're not really even paying attention to. This is what Blind Mike wants us to do. Let's play along. I think that's what it's cult mentality.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, look, I've watched hours of them bashing me, and I've read all of the comments. Okay. Some of them were funny, and sometimes I laughed out loud. Matter of fact, the one I watched the other one the other night when they were bashing me, and there were like 3 times I laughed out loud at their comments, their comebacks to my whatever, and I felt bad laughing out loud because I thought I was going to wake up my wife because she was sleeping next to me. Well, the drugs haven't worn off yet. That's the only way we can have sex.
Oh my God!
I'm just
Jesus Christ!
No, he wasn't in the room that time. He was. Sometimes I have him watching video, but I enjoyed some of his witty. Some of their comments was funny. 3 of them were funny enough for me to laugh out loud.
I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see any of the comments that seemed funny or witty. They all seemed like to be mean spirited. But I thought
that's
they
what
were
I
just
thought too.
Being mean spirited because this is what Mike wants.
Well, I'm not saying they weren't mean spirited. I'm just saying, but some of them were funny.
You saw the comment I was gonna leave. I was pissed for you, and I'm still am, and I'm glad you're not, because I'm not gonna be an asshole and like be embarrassing. It like I said, the approach annoys me. I just feel like it could have been more head on and.
I welcome. I told him this. I welcome. If he wants to find stuff of me that he could bash, and I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to comment back. I will let people say whatever they fucking want to say about me. Yeah. It is what it is. And again, with who are these podcast guys? I agreed with everything they said about me. It was a lot of negative things about me, but I think they were spot on. I didn't think that their comments about Jackie was spot on. I thought those were totally disrespectful, or not even disrespectful, just jealous. It's just petty, wanting to. They're just jealous, and they're Jackie wannabes for whatever reason. These guys never did anything, and now they're jealous of people who did do things with their life. So, and I think that's probably true of Blind Mike. I think he's a guy who wishes he could have been a comedian, and so here's the idea: I'm just going to try to lift myself up by bringing other people down, which never works. It never works.
One of the issues I do have, one of the things I have trouble with, when Blind Mike says, because sometimes he says things that seem complimentary, and I don't know, I can't tell if he's just trying to be sarcastic. He'll go, I have to admit, I wouldn't be able to stand up and do that routine because that's hard, that's a hard routine or whatever, and
yeah.
And also he misunderstands, if he's seen my script when I actually write, there's some things I write that I know are not going to get the big laughs, and it'll be in my script. It'll there's some people I know this is a 4%. This is a really, really inside joke, and you have to be there, and I'm fine with that. And then I will have there was a couple of things there was one response I have goes, when I expect a white audience to not laugh, and I would say, well, my people think that's funny. Okay. and that's it. But it's in the script because I don't expect them to laugh. And it's right in the script because well, my people think that's funny. And they hear that and they go well, nobody laughs, so he just took that out. It's no, I didn't expect them to laugh. I wrote that next line on purpose. It was something that I thought was funny or something I wanted to say.
All right, so we'll keep track on the Blind Mike thing. He said maybe next week is where we're at. So I left it open. I said there's a calendar link. Book yourself whenever it's convenient.
Well, I'm curious. I'm really curious because the next bit where they left off, the next bit is one of the ones I had the most fun writing. And for the longest time, that was my favorite bit that I'd written. I mean, the one I'd crafted, it was one of my favorite bits that I'd written out. And I'm curious to see what their take of it is, how they're going to chop it up and ruin it. but even the one that they ruined, the other one the one that they watched, I've done different renditions of that, and it's it's always risky when you're making fun of Jesus, but you're not making fun of Jesus. That's just it. And they also misinterpreted it, but they forget, get around to it. But
yeah, I know Steven's got to go because the little kids are getting restless and they need to.
I thought he was off today. He's off today.
Oh, he's off today. Oh, I did not know. All right,
today and tomorrow.
So right? I just want to say this because it seems to me, even if, and I'm not gonna. It sounds like I'm defending you, and that's not what my purpose here with saying this is. I think even if you were hysterically Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Robin Williams funny, they would find a way.
You're saying I'm not.
They would find a way to not like it. They go into it with the attitude of, let's not like this. Let's make it worse than it even is. Let's look for things to not enjoy about this. I really feel like that's the goal. And that's what is upsetting to me. It's like not looking for anything, not even looking for the silver lining. And when you see it, let's pretend it's not there. Let's just look for the negative, accentuate the negative, and talk about the negative. And here I am, the guy with the attitude of being the negative guy. Like, wait a minute, I don't get it. And now I'm not, oh, poor me, I'm a victim. I don't understand the way the nature of this law of attraction is supposed to work, because even though I am an asshole and abusive and it's silly and ballbuster and all this stuff, my purpose on this program is to be a positive light for people who want to advance, learn, and become more knowledgeable about the craft, about show business, about performing, about selling and marketing your skills and all this stuff. This is the purpose here. It's not to say, and I think Dan probably felt like, oh, look, he's just pulling apart my bio. No, I'm telling you why your bio is not impressive and why you should really kind of work on that. And I'd be happy to work on it with you. But so I feel like I'm doing something positive and I get a negative rap because of it, and then this guy is out there just looking for the negative, not looking for anything positive, and he's happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't get what they're doing in the sense that it's not something that I would do. But if that's the thing they want to do, God bless them.
But but there's a culture, there's a trend in society that not only rewards this kind of thing, but makes more people want to get involved. Like who are these podcasts? Those guys, that's all negative too. And if you look in the media sphere, in the podcast, new media sphere, this is what people are doing. They're gravitating towards the negative. I'm just going to do something negative because it sells and it gets attention. Unfortunately for Blind Mike, not working out so well. He's not getting rich off it. But most people are doing it for clicks and views and all that kind of. Let's go negative.
So I had one guy call me a hack in social media. And called me a hack, said I wasn't funny. And I wasn't a comedian, so I asked him. I said, "Well, which one of my shows did you watch? So I can understand where you're coming from, because I haven't watched any of them." And I said, "Oh, so you haven't watched anything I've done, but yet you tell me I'm not a good comedian." I said, "Okay, we can have this conversation after you've watched something, and then tell me."
Let me just say, if you know anything about comedy, you know that you don't have to watch somebody to know they're not funny.
So he watched one of them, and then he wrote back in public on Facebook. He goes, the same place where he trashed me. He goes, "I owe you an apology." He goes, "You're actually much funnier than I thought you were." And he goes, "It was a good show." And then he said, and he said that I should have spent more money on my background.
That is the dopiest fucking critique. Listen, my main and not just because I disagree with him. Comedy, I think a lot of comedians just go too stupid with backdrops and stuff like that. Ari Shafir's fucking Hollywood, Tommy Bahama fucking backdrop ruined that fucking thing for me. I couldn't pay attention to it. It was just like, what am I supposed? Where are the dancing girls coming out of these bushes? That's
Yeah, I just assume I'd rather have just a plain.
There's a reason comedy clubs have a plain brick wall. Then you focus on the comedian, not on the fucking lights and the smoke show.
Yeah, when I see now, there's some things like the material is good, and I can see the having a set. Like when I was in Florida, I used to work for I used to volunteer at a theater, the Little Venice Theater, and they used to put on plays and stuff, and I used to build sets. And so I was on their stage, looking out the audience, imagining performing comedy there. But in the meantime, behind me, there's this whole set for what was it? It could have been the Full Monty at that time. The set for the Full Monty is behind me, and I'm thinking to myself, I could do my comedy. And as a matter of fact, one of the people, it wasn't that, it was another one. It was like Who's Coming to Dinner or some dinner thing, because they had like a dining room set and stuff. And I was doing improv on the stage using their stuff, and for the audience of builders that we had. And I thought to myself, this would be cool if I had this as a comedy thing, if I was doing just improv. But just doing stand-up, it would be too much for me.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
All right, so
I like having a chair that rotates, so I can use that as a prop. But
we know you like to swim on it and shit.
They put the dildo on. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, it's a roller coaster. It's a spaceship. It's a car. Yeah.
All right, so maybe I'll be dead tomorrow. Maybe I won't wake up tomorrow.
Or maybe you'll be here, just dead to us.
I guess I have to. That's a consolation prize, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
they all can't be winners.
I want to die before I get prostate cancer that metastasizes to the bone.
How about Boo!
Where the white women at?
I don't know.
You gotta say where the white women at.
Yeah. Where the white women at? I can't see fucking shit out of this thing. Who cut these holes?
That's because you got the wrong size. You're definitely a 2XL and you're wearing a 4XL hood.
It's supposed to be my granddad's.
So Steven, reach out to Carl today and tell him to be on the program tomorrow.
Gotcha,
All
will
right.
do.
All right. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to